What's up, five? Oh, hold on. Why can't I hear myself? All right. What's up, five fans? Hold on, let me fix my head here. We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am always your host, Edwin. Where the wall fight start? Round one.
Round one.
Yo, I gotta make sure that these sound effects here are working. Bear with me real quick. Last time they weren't working. Yeah, I can hear it. What's up, guys? We got a lot to talk about, man. O'Shaughnessy Foster and Stephen Kubo Fulton, their weigh in, what this means, and a little bit of the confusion of what people are saying, right, about the WBC title being on the line. So I just, just a little bit of transparency here, and we could talk all things boxing, right? Um, so, uh, Stephen Kubo Fulton, first of all, hold on a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's get some information here real quick. It should have been set up here. Man, Jenner Beck's out, huh? All right. All right. Stephen Kubo Fulton has a record of 23 fights with 8 knockouts and 1 loss where he was stopped in Japan against the monster Naoya the Monster Inoue, right? Okay. He's 31 years old and he is currently the 126-pound WBC world champion, right? Okay. So he's scheduled to fight the one and only O'Shaughnessy Foster, right? And he is currently 23 fights, 12 knockouts with 3 losses, right? He's never been stopped in his career. Um uh O'Shaughnessy Foster, he's 5'8". I think he has like a 52% knockout ratio, right? I'm looking him up right now. He's coming up. I'm just reading off the top of my head. Now, O'Shaughnessy Foster is the current, yeah, he is the current 130-pound champion, right? So when you got the guy, the lower guy, moving up in weight to challenge you, you would think, it shouldn't be too hard for him to make the weight. Well, in this case, Stephen Kubo Fulton missed weight by 2 pounds. He weighed in at 132. Now that's kind of alarming because isn't Stephen Kubo Fulton a vegan? He doesn't eat meat. So what were you eat like? Which makes me think if you couldn't cut weight on that kind of diet, were you training like undisciplined? Like you weren't watching your weight at all? Just like I know he trained for the fight. I can believe that Stephen Kubo Fulton is gonna show up to this fight. About his performance in the ring, we'll talk about that. But like, was it one of those situations where you just focused on the fight and you ate whatever you wanted and you thought that the weight was going to come off, or was it one of those situations where you finally your body doesn't cut weight like it once did when you were younger? Is it one of those situations where that this was the fight that you found out, oh shit, I can't cut weight like I used to? Because there's that fight, it exists. So Stephen Fulton he could have misjudged it, and a lot of people might be reading into it like that's undisciplined. That's not good, right? So I can see where the alarms go off, right? Okay, so and then it really goes off for me, right? Because it shows me that Steve and what the reason why I said all of that was this. The reason why I think that Stephen Kubo Fulton I think is in the position where his body's not cutting weight like it used to, because he actually gave it an effort. Look at the evidence. He missed weight for this fight 3 times. He has 3 failed attempts to make this weight. So he was trying because he thought no, I could still cut this weight. We was still giving it an effort, and he was coming up short. So it means to tell me either one, he came in too heavy, way too undisciplined, right? Or two, he came in at a weight that he normally thought, hey, I can just cut this weight off, and his body didn't respond. Um, I'm not sure. So he missed weight 3 times, right? So the big wigs go into the office. The fighters are out here, probably in the lobbies, doing their things in the morning time. Because by the time we saw the fight, I mean them weigh in, I'm sorry. By the time we saw them weigh in, it had been hours that it was announced that he had missed the weight. So the big wigs went back into the office and they renegotiated the terms, right? Now the fight is scheduled for the vacant 135-pound championship of the world. So they just told O'Shaughnessy Foster, I guess, stop cutting weight, right? And Stephen Kubo Fulton came in at the 132. Well, not really stop cutting weight because he made the weight. He made the weight. So he could have fought for his belt at 130, but the one that didn't make the weight, and that's alarming. And I had Stephen Kubo Fulton in this fight. I was wishing him on. It was wishful thinking at best, yeah, because to tell you the truth, I thought O'Shaughnessy Foster is going to win this fight. He's probably going to stop Stephen Kubo Fulton. But my Philly sister, the Philly Boxing Club, I was trying to hope Stephen Kubo Fulton better in this fight. Uh, and he is a decent fighter and a boxer in his own right. So it wasn't a bad pick. So I was like, I was like, um, you know, uh, I would like to, damn it, it wasn't a bad pick. I would like to try to see if Steven could have pulled it off. But you gotta like recognize certain things. And if you couldn't, like, you guys weren't, Jerron Boots Ennis was, Bozy Ennis was back there, like, scratching his head, like, what's going on over there? The belt was on the line, and now it's for an interim belt. So, and then, like, as far as their performance, like I said, you know, I think that O'Shaughnessy would have been the bigger guy, but it looks like Stephen Kubo Fulton's going to come in the bigger guy. Doesn't seem like he has a real good height advantage on Steph. Steph is not known for his punching power, but what he lacks in punching power, he makes up with in fighting ability, boxing ability. Stephen Kubo Fulton is very fast off his jab. He works good. He can cut angles. He knows how to clinch up on the inside. Steph Fulton is a very crafty boxer. He only lost to the great Naoya the Monster Inoue, which currently has all 4 belts at 122. So you can't be, embarrassed or ashamed of that loss. It took the best fighter in the world to basically beat you at down here at these weight divisions right here. You know, um, so and then Stephen Kubo Fulton proved his pedigree by moving up in weight and becoming a world champion once again. Now moving up in weight and challenging for another world title and his third attempt at a new weight division. So it speaks to the pedigree of Stephen Kubo Fulton. He can box, he can fight. He's a good what Stephen does really good? He picks up on movement. He makes pretty good adjustments. Um, um, and he's been down in fights, and in the fights he was down in, he came back to win those fights. So it shows that his will, his eye of the tiger, he's always in the fight. Even when he was being outclassed by the monster in Japan, Steph, he was in the fight. He was trying to fight him. He was just a bit too fast, a bit too powerful, and a step ahead of you. That's it. When are we going to admit when we see a fighter that fighter was better than you? That's it. And on this night right here, Stephen Kubo Fulton or Shasi Foster is about to enter the ring tomorrow night, and they're going to show the world why they are the best fighters in these divisions and why we needed this fight. This is the smoke right here. Right here. I know that Eastside Pitbull Cruz there's fireworks right there. Someone's going down in that fight. In that Eastside Pitbull Cruz Lamont Roach, we ain't making it to the 12th round. We ain't making it to the 12th round in that fight. So, and damn, Janet Beck is out, huh? So who is it and who's in? Laura is gonna fight Romans, right? Right? So Jesse, I can't complain. I like the fight. Would have liked the Janabek fight better for the unification. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm kind of in a funny place because now if I come out and say I like the Janabek fight, oh, he's doping, he's using. Look, I heard, man. That's unfortunate, man. I heard, man. Look, he's innocent until proven guilty, man. Let him prove his case. Janabek, he's gonna have to work this out. Until I hear, the findings myself from VADA and what's going on. We all thought, yes or no. Oh shit, Jaime Munguia's dirty. Then all of a sudden, Sample B. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's good. No, we don't have to go further. This was a misunderstanding. What if it's one of those situations? I don't know. I have to hear everything. And since I haven't heard too much, you guys probably know more about it than me right now at this point, because I haven't had an opportunity to check down that story yet. So I don't know anything about it. So I'm just like, damn, bro. I'm like, that's what it is? So, yeah, man. Let me check what y'all saying up here. You don't want no business with Tank? What? What you saying? Lamont has already stated that he does not want to do business with Tank ever again. He messed up and can't trust him. Yeah. Well, he has his right. He has his right. He has his rights. So and rightfully so. He shouldn't do business with Tank. But money wise, come on, man. You could be mad today, and Tank say he want that fight. You better shoot your shot. Nobody else is gonna rake in that dough like Tank. You know it, Lamar. I mean, speak your talk, speak your truth. Yeah, man. We all can be mad and say something at one time or whatever. Boom. All right. But you have the right to change your mind. You have your right to cool down and say, yo, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, fuck it, but give me more money. You know what I mean? Negotiate. You left me high and dry. Now you want to shoot the rematch and then pay me this time the correct way, because I heard Lamar Roach didn't even make that much money in the Tank David fight regardless. So, but rightfully so. A lot of people feel that Devin Haney doesn't need Ryan Garcia at this point. That if Devin Haney, you know what I mean, just goes about his day and fights other fights, just leave Ryan high and dry. He has the right to do that. I can't say no. I can't be mad at it. You know what I mean? No. But I think it'll be a big fight, the Ryan and Devin, especially if Ryan does his part. Here we are once again in the same situation. Devin does his part, right? Gets criticized, both performing either way. He even got criticized in the Brian Norman Jr. fight. Just like, you know what I mean? So here we are again. Ryan Garcia has to do his part. and then we'll see what happens down the road. But respectfully to the fighters, right? Uh, I can't disagree. And then Tio crazy. Tio like he talking right. Tio like, yo, I'm going to whoop on little bro, Shakur Stevenson. As soon as I whoop on little bro, I want Terrence Crawford. And I was like, oh shit, Tio, you done lost your. But wait a minute. Wait, I like that. Wait, keep talking, Tio. He got me intrigued because it would be like uh um the master with the student. And he's master, and he's like, and you beat up his student, he's like, the master's like, you know what I mean? He gonna come after Tio, big bro. But it sounds funny, but what weight would they have fought at realistically, right? If you think of a situation like that, right? What weight would they fight at? The only weight I think that they can fight at is at 154. Tio would have to move up to 154, and Terrence Crawford would have to come down. And that's why I like the fight. Because to tell you the truth, that might be Tio's fight. That's crazy to think about, huh? Because if you give me prime Terrence Crawford, Tio doesn't beat him nowhere. In no weight division, Tio can't beat him. But we're talking about an aged Terrence Crawford, 39, right? We're talking a Terrence Crawford that went up to 168. We're talking boxing history tells us when Roy Jones Jr. jumped all the way up to heavyweight and came all the way back down, he didn't have any punch resistance. Same thing I'm telling Conor Ben. Don't you think you're going to get in there without a couple tune-up fights and jump in front in that ring with Devin Haney? You're going to get wiped down. Terrence Crawford makes that weight cut from 168 all the way back down to 154. He's going to have problems. His body won't respond like that at that age. He'll be almost 40 years old. You think he's fighting young Terrence Crawford? Hell no. Tio would never get in the ring with young Terrence Crawford. Get the hell out of here. He'd get wiped down. Terrence would beat the shit out of him, lefty and righty. But that's not what we have. We have a blimped up version of Terrence Crawford that would have to cut a lot of weight. How far do you think Tio's going to go? Tio's not stupid. There's no way that Tio would go up to 160. He better not be that dumb. 154 is the trap. That's the plan. And I started thinking about it and I said, oh shit. Wait a minute. This is interesting. Terrence takes that fight with Tio to think he could just get in there and beat up on Tio. Yo, that'll be a fucking, I would like to see that. If Terrence can pull that off, oh my God. Yo, that would be incredible. That's one for the old dudes, bro. For real. At almost 40 years old, you think Terrence Crawford could cut weight like that? Look what happened to Shotzi Foster. Listen, that's not easy. What he did with like going up into the beginning with, see, the first part was risky. It was really risky. But people did that before. Roy Jones Jr. jumped up and fought the heavyweight champion of the world and won. So Terrence Crawford jumped up and fought Saul and won. Okay? They completed the mission. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about coming back down. Now at your ripe ages, Roy Jones Jr. found out the hard way. That you still might think you're that guy up here, but Father Time is undefeated. If Terrence could do, man, listen. See, Tio know what he's doing. Tio know what he's doing, man. He does. Tio, yo, I was, as soon as I heard it, I was like, Tio, shut the hell up. Tio, you'll get beat up. And then the more I started processing it, I was like, it stopped me in my tracks. I was like, yeah, right, Tio, you'll get beat up. Wait a minute. I was like, hold up. Let's think this shit through, right? Let's hit that thumbs up. Let's hit that thumbs up, right? So, because I was like, Teal might be onto something. Because you every time Teal say some crazy shit, you don't like you don't listen to it all the time. He's always calling people out, right? But every now and then, Teal make you he'll say some shit, and you'll just be like, well, what'd you say? Right? Say come again? And and like you don't like sometimes he's like the little boy that cry wolf, Teal. You kind of don't that's Teal, right? And then like now, like I'm like, wait a minute, that could be interesting. That could be interesting right there. But he tough assignment. Once again, brother, you gotta get past Shakur Stevenson. And that, my friend, is not gonna be easy. If you can do that, come on, Teal. If you just we're talking hypothetical here, okay? Okay? This is Teal's freaking little quote. I'm not saying he's getting past Shakur, but I'm just saying, man, right? Damn. So realistically, when I start to think about that, that can only be at 154. I would imagine so, right? I'm just making an educated boxing guess on a situation that hasn't occurred yet. That's we don't know if Terrence would even acknowledge him after he beat Shakur. Terrence doesn't have to respond to Tio. We know that. Terrence might be doing Terrence Crawford shit by then. I don't know. So we're just going through the motions here. Don't shoot the messenger, right? So I'm just saying, interesting situation, but there's a few things that need to take place. Yes. Teal's just trolling. Teal just, yo, listen. Well, what you saying here? Well, look, the problem with a lot of these announcements, my brother, that boxing like I know boxing. Shit changes fast in boxing. One minute they saying the fight's not on, next minute the fight's on. One minute they're saying that this fight will not happen, next thing the fight's happening. You know, um I can't say that every time or every line or everything that I hear in boxing, it's official. They're not moving. The only story in boxing so far to date that has stood to be true from the moment he said it was Errol Spence Jr. saying he won't fight one time Keith Thurman. That's it. That's it. Everything else is subject to change for money. If Lamont Roach and Tank all of a sudden make an agreement and they get some fight and then it starts picking up traction, suppose Lamont Roach starches Esau Pitbull Cruz, which Esau Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach both survived a Tank Davis fight. They're the only two fighters of late that managed to get out of a Tank Davis fight. He didn't knock out Esau Pitbull Cruz, and he didn't stop Lamont Roach in the draw. So out of these two tough guys that survived Tank Davis, the winner out of that with that little belt, you could sell it. You could sell it because Esau Pitbull Cruz has a unfinished business with Tank. He's telling Tank, "You're so tough, you never stop me." I went 12 rounds with you, Tank. You couldn't beat me in the fight. It was close. I don't want to hear about you breaking your hand. That shit happens, right? And the world saw Lamont Roach's situation. So to sit here and say, oh, Lamont Roach is definitely not going to fight Tank Davis, let's not talk about that. That's not true. And I'm not a fan of Tank Davis. I report boxing. So as long as Tank Davis is in the sport of boxing, I'm sorry, whether you like him or not, I got to talk about the man. He's obviously good for the sport. People are coming out to see him. Okay? Whether you tune into his fights or not, that's my job is different. I cover all boxers. I can't be biased because of what he's doing. If what he's doing is in the story, in the headlines, then I'm gonna talk about it. Because I cover boxing. I'm not his fan. Look, what he's doing in the sport, the way he's going about his business, all these court cases, Tank, you're looking bad out here in these streets. But this is where we're at with the fighters that are currently fighting. Esau Pitbull Cruz and Lamont Roach. That's a pretty decent fight. And like I said, both these men got something to prove. They want to prove not only did they survive with Tank Davis, but that they're the better fighter among the survivors. See, because Esau Pitbull Cruz is claimed to fame, and he's got a lot of supporters because what? He survived the great American Tank Davis. And Tank didn't knock out our Mexican. And he's so bad, he's so tough. You ain't so bad, you ain't so tough. You ain't knocked me out. And he went to star status over just that. A moral victory. That's how powerful Tank Davis is. Recognize how he got his power and where you got it from. The star status of Tank Davis for surviving. So that's what's on the line. And the right to antagonize, right? Tank Davis. What do you think Esau Pitbull Cruz is going to do with this if he wins? Same shit he does every fight. Antagonize Tank Davis. Same shit. Esau Pitbull. I want to fight Tank Davis. Tank Davis, fight me. Tank Davis. Every fight is like, come on, man. It's like Pinky the Brain. What you think? Same shit we do every day. Try to take over the world. Shit don't change. Esau, that's what Esau's going to probably try to get. And Lamont Roach, speak your truth. You're mad right now. Say what, and then, but you got a family to feed. At the end of the day, you fight these fights for a prize too. And you want to be paid what you're worth. If you could put yourself in position to stop Esau Pitbull Cruz, brag about it. The microphone is in your face on that night. The floor is yours. What's your move next? Can you back Tank Davis into a corner where the public demand the fight? Like, nah, we need to be here now. Now you got that real leverage, and you can even ask for more money. You know what I mean? Because Lamont, you got a family, baby. Provide for yours. Shit, Lamont, man. I want to drive nice cars too. I want a nice house. I like them nice suits and like dress nice too, damn it. And don't let nobody tell you what to do and hold you to some words. I thought you said you weren't going to fight him, Lamont, man. There's money here. Millions. Don't be stupid. Shit. Go in there and prove you could beat him. Especially if he beats him in the second one, right? Yo, what if Lamont Roach stops Tank Davis? Yo, Tank's whole empire will crash right there. It'd be like burning in the back. Yo, oh, that would be crazy. See, a lot of these second rematches I want to see, some of them. But most of them, yeah, I gotta admit, I gotta see it. I want to see Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia too. You know what I mean? If Lamont pulls it off or Eastside Pitbull Crew, I want to see that Tank David part two. Either way, I could see that again, especially if they do something special in the fight. Either one. If it's not a boring fight, I never saw an Eastside boring fight. I seen him gas out. Yeah, his tank is a question. But when you're throwing 5 million hook shots, he ain't gonna throw a jab. I don't think he's gonna work off the jab. It's gonna be all power hooks. That's what Lamont Rhodes got to survive for 36 minutes or stop him, catch him and do what Ryo did. Ryo stood on the outside, bounced around on his feet. He really disrupted Esau Pitbull Cruz's rhythm. He didn't let Esau Pitbull Cruz get into like nothing. He was there 1 minute, gone the next. He was just peppering him away, man. And then Ryo did some stupid shit. At times he would fall asleep behind the wheel and he stood there too long. Esau Pitbull Cruz would come over the top. But by that time, Ryo had like at the later part, Ryo, I think really be taking the fight out of him. He knew he was in over his head, Esau Pitbull Cruz, and Ryo wasn't scared of him. Ryo, he he boxed well. I mean, he did some stuff that I would like, damn, like it cost him later. Ryo, he didn't fix it. And that's why I think he lost to Gary Antoine Russell that way. It seemed like the curse of the champions bit him. It happens. We see it sometimes when a newly crowned world champion goes on a hiatus right after winning. And the women or the money or his city by itself, it could be overwhelming. You're thinking like the city's showing you this kind of love must be like this everywhere. Well, that's a different kind of star status, but that alone, just your city, uh, that can be a lot. And then the fight, it shows in the fighter's next performance, and it showed in Ryo. He didn't look better, I can say. He didn't look better than the Esau Pitbull Cruz fight. No, he didn't. And just like Andy the Destroyer Ruiz, when he fought AJ the second time, you could see right away he wasn't disciplined. And you know what I mean? You had a better fight the first fight. And you see where the young champion got the belt and fell out of discipline. We saw that with Keyshawn Davis. We saw that with a lot of fighters. We see that a lot. And right now, it's happening with O'Shaughnessy Foster and Stephen Kubo Fulton. It's kind of alarming, man, for me, man. That kind of like took the wind right out of my sails for Stephen Kubo Fulton. It really did. It kind of bummed me out. I got O'Shaughnessy Foster now in the fight. I got him by stoppage, too. Yeah. I'm not sure about Stephen Kubo. I mean, man, could this be one of those rare moments, that uh I don't know, the smaller guy jumps up, misses weight, but and goes over the weight and comes in and performs well. I don't know where that happens at. I don't know where that happens at, but uh I want to see what their fight weight is too. When they come in on fight night. We'll get more information as the fight, they release that and everything on fight night. I want to see what they both weigh in, and then so my predictions and what I got in the fight here is this, right? The Esau Pitbull Cruz fight and the Lamont Roach, I'm going back and forth a lot on this one. A lot. I can see a situation where Lamont Roach outclasses Isa Pitbull Cruz and beats him like Ryo did. Uh Lamont Roach has the ability to do that. I just never seen Lamont Roach at this weight. Isa Pitbull Cruz obviously is the champion. He's been up in this weight, playing around in this division for quite some time. So uh I would say that the odds are on Isa Pitbull Cruz. Las Vegas odds got, I think, Lamont Roach the favorite in this fight. But um I'm gonna give Isa Pitbull Cruz the boxer respect, the champion respect. I mean, not the boxer respect, the champion respect. Uh I think Lamont Roach is playing up two weight divisions where he don't belong. I think he's the 130-pound champion of the world. Uh this is convenient for him because it just so happens that Isa Pitbull Cruz is all of like 5'3". Okay, so it's a real good situation where that the guy at 140 is not actually taller in stature. He should be. Like, I don't think Lamont Roach would do good against a real 140 pounder. I don't think he would do good against, let's say, Subriel Matias. That would be ugly. I think Subriel Matias would bulldozer that dude. Subriel Matias will hurt him. And I don't think he could be in, like, so it's an interesting situation because of the height of Isa Pitbull Cruz that really makes the fight that much better, you know? So, um, so, I that's why that fight is interesting. Um, yeah, I want Lamont Roach to, to win and everything. The American side of me. It's also a Latin side of me too. The Latin blood. It just and my fellow Latin Mexicans. You know what I mean? I know how we fight, bro. I believe in our fighting blood, bro. And I believe in the American fighting blood. Of course, we're the fucking American slick style. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I just think that Esau might be a bit more seasoned. He fought bigger guys on the Lamont Roach. I've never seen Lamont Roach at this weight. Um, but like I said, there's a scenario where he outboxes him. So look, I might hate myself in the morning for this pick, right? It's always subject to change. It might change tomorrow, right? Ah, I don't know why I'm going against Lamont Roach, man. I think he's gonna win this fight. But I gotta the scale tips a little bit in Esau Pitbull Cruz's favor for me. So I'm gonna rock with Esau Pitbull Cruz. I'm gonna stay with Esau Pitbull Cruz in that fight. Fuck it. I'm gonna rock with him. I don't think Lamar Roach should be here. He shouldn't be here. He's only here because of he survived Tank Davis, and you're not even fighting in that weight division. So uh we about to find out. And O'Shaughnessy Foster and Stephen Fulton, man, I like I told you, all the way until just now, I had Stephen Kubo Fulton in the fight. All the way until just the weigh-in. You guys heard me. I'm gonna go with Stephen Fulton. I was saying it. He doesn't have the punching power, but I was like, yo, I think he might be able to box him. So I was a little wishful thinking because O'Shaughnessy's a dog. O'Shaughnessy's a real dog. And if he comes in there like that O'Shaughnessy Foster that fights to his level, he can stop Stephen, I know. And then that was in the like them coming in and weight on 130. Now the bells are going off for Stephen and it's not looking good for me. And I'm like, O'Shaughnessy Foster just might I don't know, man. I just, you see, like Stephen Fulton, he looked depleted. He looked like he was like he was just there. Like he was like, "Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow night." Like, like, and when I looked in his face, I was just like, man. But that's the beauty about boxing. That is the beauty about boxing. Shotzi Foster goes out there. Stephen Fulton goes out there and rocks on Shotzi Foster. And then we're like, oh shit, fucking Stephen. Oh shit, he did it. So, you know, a lot of, you can misread a lot of things in life, you know. Stephen could be, this could be his game plan or something. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Or he can make fucking an omelet out of scrambled eggs. You know what I mean? Like he could make something good out of a negative. He could turn this around. He still has the opportunity of winning the 135 interim belt for all that's worth. Because all you do there is for the sanctioned body, WBC, weasel their way back in to get some moolah, baby. Some more sanctioning fees, right? So they already lost their fight at 130. So the WBC wasn't going to get paid because it wasn't going to get represented because O'Shaughnessy Foster had no one to fight that could win it. So they weren't going to get any money for this Stephen Cool WBC. So what they did was wait. We'll throw in the 135-pound interim belt. It's vacated all of a sudden. Yo, whoever had it, they just ripped it off his waist. Yo, we got this one right here. It just became available. Matter of fact, it's vacant. You know what I mean? You can fight for that one. As long as you're fighting for and you agree to that, well, then you agree to the sanctioning fees for the WBC interim world title. So now they're ching back in the game. Back in the game, WBC. You know what I mean? So, because do you see O'Shaughnessy Foster defending the WBC 135-pound interim title if he was to win it? Or do you see Stephen Kubo Fulton defending that title? For what? For what? Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? So, Frontline,
What's happening?
what's going on, Frontline? Came in the back door, said it,
I had to.
let the mic magnetize me no more. What up, Frontline? What's going on?
Ain't shit. What's going on? Long time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Catching up to a lot of this boxing stuff and just getting situated again and, shit like that. So, what's up with you, man? Did you see this miss weight?
I
With,
didn't. I didn't. I've been busy, but it doesn't shock me, bro. It's tanta mierda que está pasando en el boxeo. It's
yeah.
like ever since Turkey's been involved, like there's been so much shady shit going on, and it doesn't matter like whatever. It's just every organization. It's just fucked up, bro. It's
Yeah, well, here's a hypothetical situation. Maybe Turkey's destroying boxing within so that his league can flourish. Maybe he's turning us against each other on purpose. That's just a hypothetical, but maybe he's trying to destroy us from within in everything.
no.
And
I agree with that statement. 100%.
this situation with Terrence Crawford and the WBC and everything playing out with the sanctioning fees and him making a stand on this, and a lot of people coming to his defense. Terrence shouldn't, or that they're everybody has a little bit of information here and there, just like myself, right? We don't know the truth. So we're only gathering from here and there. And then some people get it mixed up where they're saying, oh, they said 300,000. Now the WBC wants more. And Terrence Crawford's telling them, no, I told you I would give you this, but now you want more, which is
So
not true.
So I look at it like this. Let's hypothetically say that the sanctioning fees are for shits and giggles 150,000, right? If he paid 150,000 for the sanctioning fees, Suleiman can't come back after he paid them whatever they agreed upon during the contract portion of the fight.
Mhm.
He can't come back and say, "Oh, now you owe me more because you won XYZ amount of dollars."
Right, he can't do
You
that.
That's like me being the plug. You coming to me, I'm charging you 30,
Mhm.
and then I call you up and be like,
No,
"Yo,
no, no,
matter of
because
fact,
you heard I sold it for a lot more.
right? So, oh, yo, now you owe me an extra 20. Now it's 50.
Right, because you heard I flipped it, I tripled it.
Exactly. That shit
You
don't
s-
work that way.
that shit don't work. And then the other way is you can't come to my restaurant after I come in, you order from the menu, you saw my prices, sit down and eat my food. And then after you get up and say you don't want to pay for the bill. After
Facts.
you sat there and ate lobster and everything. You see, going into the fight, Terrence Crawford agreed to the term because without agreeing to the term, he wouldn't have got the position he was in.
Correct.
So so you go in, you win the fight, you want the star status that and the claim that came with the night that you became a 3 division or 4 belts, but you want to welch out on the bill to become that. And then if the boxing gods were to come and strip him of the title and say he is no longer 3 division, the boxing fans can go in an uproar if they want to, right? But that would just be proving or enabling someone's behavior because of the fact that you don't want to pay for a contest. You knew going into the contest, this is what it was. You see, it's not like Mauricio said it and Terrence said it and both out of their mouth. So I'm only going by what they said. And Terrence himself said it was 300,000 for the fight with Canelo and 100,000 on the back end on money I owed him. Mauricio Suleiman himself came out and said it was 300,000 for the Canelo and 100,000 because he never paid us the money in his last fight at 154 for the interim belt. He owed us $100,000. So when he went into the Canelo fight, we talked to him about that. Hey, you owe us 100. He said, "Look, I'm Terrence Crawford. I'm good for the money." They said, "Okay, this fight's for 300,000." Terrence said, "What makes your price so much more?" They said the reason why it was 300,000 is because we made a fucking solid gold ring that cost $150,000 to commemorate the night. And we told you that both of you stand to win this ring and this belt, the tricked out belt they made. This tricked out belt cost like $16,000 to put together, and the ring was like 100 and whatever, and then regular sanction fees and the 100,000 you owed me. So all this was discussed. They showed the ring online weeks before the fight. Hey,
Yeah, but
whoever
Edwin,
wins.
was it discussed or was it on paper?
No, listen. Okay,
Because
check this
remember,
out.
a
Oh,
legally binding contract supersedes. You got to understand when it comes to contracts, after a certain amount, it has to be on paper.
okay. Check this out, right? Right. If me and you we were talking about doing somebody's bathroom or
Hmm.
we remodeled something, then we
Hmm.
can be talking about a situation like this. But you realize we're talking about professional boxing where all the snakes are always on alert. All the contracts, all the audit, they've been through this for centuries. This is not their first rodeo. So
Hey,
going
real
into
quick
the
before we continue, G-Ball made a
yep,
good point. He said Dana White's greedy ass is in Turkey's ear. This is Dan's dream to kill off the belts and the Ali Act.
yo, that's why hypothetically I said, don't shoot the messenger. You know what I thought, I threw that out there, okay? And what I'm saying is this, like, look, Terrence, um, he knew of all these things because the ring was, it was showcased. Mauricio Suleiman took it to the WBC convention. He announced it. He showcased the belt. The both fighters that are in on it, they had them face to face. Mauricio came, Ness put it on. Rachel Donaire talked about it. She was in another place with Mauricio in a separate event, and he had the ring there. He was bringing it around with him. All the fighters knew about that, and they were aware of the bill. So wasn't Saul if he won. And the thing is this: it's not like the WBC is bringing out their price, and this is a brand new price. No, this has been the WBC's price since Floyd Mayweather. It's the same price, the same amount. It's out of your purse, right? Okay, so cool. I'm trying to tell you, Terrence Crawford did pull a fast one. He really did. He caught the WBC with their pants down, and I think he did it on a trust factor. Hey, trust me, I'm Terrence Crawford. I'm good for it. I'm getting 50 million. I'll give you your little 400,000. That's nothing to me, right? On that type shit. And you go, okay, Mr. Terrence Crawford, I didn't mean to offend you. He's about to pay us $500,000. So, okay, we'll take your word for it. And then you run out on the bill?
So wait, whose fault is that though?
Okay, now check it out.
So
Check
the
it out.
hustler, Mauricio Suleiman, got hustled by another hustler.
Okay, now check this out. There's penalties to that. Now you don't think that Mauricio Suleiman ain't gonna spin the block and come look for you and try to get his work back? So what they're gonna try to do is come back and get their belt. And rightfully so, they could try to take their claim from you. Now, they're not gonna be able to take away what we saw, but they will be able to take it away out of the record books, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if legally Terrence
Nah.
Crawford actually okey-doked them. If Terrence Crawford okey-doked them, well, guess what? They're just out of the money. They're out of the money. They're going to have to learn from this.
Yo, you ever heard that saying? Fool me once, shame on me.
Right.
Fool me twice, shame on you.
It might be that way. It might be that way.
I
And
mean, it was reversed. My bad.
yeah, okay, but now check this out. Does it make it right? What kind of message is Terrence Crawford sending to the boxing world and to the young men and women that are looking upon this? There are a lot of
He's
eyes.
sending the same message that Tank's been doing forever. Why do you think Tank don't fight for belts?
Well,
Because he don't want to pay those sanctioning fees.
well,
That's why he'll
okay.
take whatever he gets coming in.
I'll go to my grave saying this. And I'll say this until the day I die. That all came from Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather started putting in Tank's head, belts don't mean shit. And in the beginning, I didn't understand it. Why would Mayweather do this? Such an accomplished world champion that fought the most world champions in boxing history. Why would he be telling Tank that? And then one day it hit me. It hit me. As long as I got you kids confused about the world titles, you guys will never break my world records. I will live in the boxing halls of in the record books forever in the number one spots. It would just be Mayweather. So what he did was the same thing he did in his career, a sleight of hands. Mayweather came out all his fights, and if you didn't notice it, you had to go back and watch it. Whenever he had a fight scheduled, he would come out with his chains on, start talking shit in clubs, throwing money. But whenever he didn't have a fight, no chains, no clubs, nothing. He was all business. That was all a mirage, a smoke screen. And he played the boxing world and he made his opponent think, oh, Mayweather's fucking off. Meanwhile, he was fucking killing himself. Just like he used those mind games back then against the fighters, and he would throw and flaunt money and piss people off, is the same thing he did to Tank Davis. He put that in his head. Belts don't matter. And by the time Tank Davis turned 30 years old, he realized he will never pass Floyd in nothing. The only thing he was left there was standing with his fucking balls in his hand, like stupid, like saying, I'm better than Floyd. And Floyd standing there like a real boss. What'd you do? Where are your belts? And Tank can't say shit, but feels stupid and realize he's been bamboozled, and now he got to go along with it. because his career went right by him. And he realized he never fought anybody, never beat any champions, and that was all Floyd's doing. He stopped one of the greatest fighters that could have caught him. Tank was young enough, strong enough, explosive enough. Floyd saw that. Floyd said, hell no, not my records. And Floyd put that into the boxing world, and it spread like wildfire. And here we are today. This is Floyd's doing. Just like that. Don't fight champions. Don't sacrifice your who did that? Floyd. That's why I say that Floyd is the greatest genius in boxing I have ever seen, in and out of the ring. Because it takes years for people to realize what he's doing. In the front of it, he looks crazy, stupid. Floyd, he's going to get his ass kicked. Never got his ass kicked. Zab Judah said it best. After he whooped Zab Judah's ass, what did he say when he went to spar with Floyd in his camp? The reporter said, hey, Zab Judah, what is it like to fight with Floyd Mayweather? He said, he trains like he doesn't have a penny in the bank. Like if you're going to take everything away from him. He trains like he's desperate. He says, I see why he beat me. He says his mentality is off the chart. You don't get like that because you're fucking around in a club. Yo, Floyd was a genius, man, and he's still fucking hurting boxing today. He's protecting what he built. He understands the fucking. You see that Floyd did when he retired. He finally retired. He did exhibitions, not like these fools like Manny Pacquiao. He wants to argue that he's the best in the world, Manny Pacquiao, but he keeps fighting, keeps getting losses attached to his record. Soon he's gonna have 10 losses, arguing about you're the GOAT with 10 losses. Professional losses, being knocked out 3 times. Like you're fucking up what you built. You fought too long. Floyd is a fucking genius, bro. And he fucked Tank up. That's Floyd's doing. He fucked Tank up, bro. And I'll go to my grave saying this.
I agree with you on that. You're not the only one that think that way. It's just, again, I don't know. Ryan's saying that these black fighters know the money the WBC take don't benefit their community. It benefits the Latino community. Tell Mauricio, show who the money go to. It goes to the Mexican and Latino community, and in his pockets. But I mean, that's like
Listen,
asking Vegas, where does that money go to?
right.
It's a business.
Right. And how do you fund the WBC that is a global one? Remember, the WBC was the one that took boxing global. It went to multiple countries around the world. They have also offices and people that organize amateur fights, small events, fighting for those belts. How could Mauricio Suleiman possibly by himself do all of that? And how do you pay these people? By putting sanctioning fees and making the WBC a worldwide organization. Without
That's
the
like going to
W,
the hood. That's like going to
right?
the hood and telling the corner boys, y'all making all this money here, but y'all not giving it back to the community.
You know what I'm
It's the
saying?
same shit.
It is. And listen, look. And these fighters say, these people, the fans, real quick, because they think that they came up with a concept in their head that it makes sense. And in an Eureka moment, let me just come out and say it, right? And they say that they don't need the belts. The fighters can fight. And I say, what you guys are not taking into account is the world stage that they fight on. Each fight, no matter if it's in a rinky-dink club, it's sanctioned under professional boxing. The eyes and views, you could do it on Pro Box, you could do whatever you want, but you're under the same umbrella, pro boxing. And under pro boxing, the 4 major sanctioning bodies that is what exist, that's what they built. So if you're saying that the belts ain't shit and it's up to the fighter, then go make your own league with your own ring and fight who? Because the pro boxers are going to want to be recognized as pros, that the sport that's been stamped. It's been stamped by these organizations and belts that stood afloat. That's how we made boxing. These guys are thinking just because you fight in a back alley and two guys and it was a great fight, fuck, we don't need the belts. I'll pay millions to see this. But then go ahead. Go be fucking, who are those YouTube guys? I don't even know their names. Go be them guys or whatever. They do fine. Go watch that.
So Edwin, to clarify, did Crawford pay any sanctioning fees to
Yes.
the WBC?
Yes. Yes. Yes, he did. He paid for the 147, the Errol Spence Jr. belts
No, no,
with
no.
the
I'm talking for the
WBC.
Canelo fight. Did he pay any fees?
Yes. According to, well, let me back up. What Bud said was the other three sanctioning bodies were okay with the same offer. So I'm assuming I'm going on a hypothetical boxing. I'm making that he did pay them. So I don't got no official document saying, yes, Terrence Crawford paid the WBO, the IBF. I'm just saying, since he doesn't have any beef with them and he was okay with them and they're not talking about stripping them, they must have got their money. Would it be so wrong to think that? Right? You would assume so. If not, the IBF would be next saying, Terrence, we're going to strip. We didn't get our money. The check bounced.
Yo, Golden stupid. He said
Right?
all the hate is from the Canelo fans who mad their hero lost. Oh shit.
Yo, that's crazy. So
That
the,
shit
the,
funny as hell.
the Canelo fans are all mad.
They mad because their
Poor
hero
Canelo
lost.
fans.
But I don't
Oh,
know.
this is weird. Man, I was about to eat this. I thought these were snacks. This is all bud. Oh, yeah? Damn, babe.
What you thought it was a brownie or something?
Man, I thought these was like nuggets or some like chocolate, whatever.
Yeah. Ask her if
Look,
that's Asterine.
yeah, yo, hey, yo, baby, you know my weed. I'm Puerto Rican. If it ain't got no Austrian, I ain't using it. You know what I'm saying? It's got to have that. It's got that Austrian. You got that band weed. All right, baby. You know how we do. You know, motherfuckers. They try to crucify us. We Puerto
But
Rican. We don't use nothing. We clean, baby.
so let me ask you this. He's getting stripped because he didn't pay his fees, right?
I guess, yeah,
Supposedly.
yeah.
So so when a sanctioned body strips somebody, like
Well, come
like
to think
Golden
about,
State just said it. He said, "What's the big deal? Fighters get stripped all the time."
yeah. Well,
So
come,
my,
yeah. Go
my
ahead, go ahead. Go
question
ahead.
my question is, if you pay your fees, right? I'm sure
Mhm.
there's rules and regulations in the contract that after you win the fight, you got XYZ amount of days to defend it or whatever. So
Mhm.
if you're paying these fees, how are they putting you on a limit onto when they can strip you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay. First of all, let's just think this through. Now, this is all me thinking, guys. Okay, just me, just working through the motions. I think at this point, the only thing they can do is strip them. I don't think they can take away the three division, all four belts. I don't think so. I
and
think that's
even
a
if they
done deal.
do, but
No, I think that's a done deal. They might have fucked up. I
on
think this is
paper,
gonna
he's
be,
still gonna be he beat Canelo.
as long as it's on paper, I don't care about anything else. As long as that shit stays for Terrence Crawford and USA gets the fucking title of three divisions with all four belts, as long as that stays. That's the only thing I don't want Terrence to play around with. He worked too hard to get that record. Don't take it away from him like this. He fucking actually beat Saud, man. Okay? So let's stop fucking playing games. Right? He beat him. Right? So hopefully, if at the end of the day all they can do is strip him of the belt, you know what? Take the fucking belt. Take the belt, and then Terrence Crawford do you. Is it a slap in the eye of boxing? Yeah, kind of. It makes Terrence look a little bad in some people's eyes, but the people that love him, they fuck it. You know what I mean? So you're gonna get love, hate either way. Who am I to tell you what to do? But at this point, technically, I don't think they could take that fucking 3 division all 4 belts from him. They can strip him 100%. That is a fact. Now, they'll probably give the guy that beat Edgar Berlanga a shot at that belt because he was supposed to fight, I guess, Saul when he was going to beat Terrence Crawford, you know. And it's kind of shady when, Terrence Crawford, you did take the ring, the gold solid ring, you took it. And you did take that belt that they made for you. You guys sometimes, a lot of fans get mad about those tricked out belts that Saul gets. You guys don't know that the WBC does that for a lot of fighters. And in 20 years, that tricked out belt is a one of a kind. There's no other belt like that on the planet Earth. There are 1,000 green belts and 1,000 champions had them. But that belt that Terrence got, that commemorates the night that he became 3-time, 3 division, all 4 belts, undisputed. That's when he set a new record in boxing. That belt is tied to that. In 20 years, that belt is going to go on an auction for like $1 million. And guess what? Saul Canelo Alvarez's name is attached to it. And that he jumped up 2 divisions. All that legacy is attached to that one belt. And you know what? That belt is real because it came from the real WBC. It's stamped. Bro, that belt is so official. That shit's going to be worth millions. Yo, all those belts Saul got, yo, when that man grows old and dies, those commemorative belts, the people are going to try to collect those like the Infinity Stones. Are you kidding me? New boxing rich people, new boxing wealth come out. Who the Mexican champion got his belt on an auction? What? Saul? My great grandfather loved him. I must get that belt. You guys are thinking that these belts ain't shit. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Man, bro, I'll smack a motherfucker for Hector Camacho's belt right now. You crazy? Talk about that's Hector Camacho's belt. What? Edwin Rosario's belt. What? Are you out of your mind? Wilfredo Gomez's belt.
Hey, touch up on a few chats here. Ryan says, "Show me the black fighters the WC have helped. They need to get rid of the WBC now." Juan
The
says,
black fighters that they helped, the one behind me, Floyd Mayweather. It's he worked with the WBC for years, and as you can see, he loved them. That's all the belt he would showcase. As a matter of fact, O'Shaughnessy Foster is a WBC champion. Stephen Kubo Fulton is a WBC champion. If I'm not mistaken, they're both brothers. Okay. There are also Mike Tyson in history that had the WBC world title. Many black American heavyweights have owned the WBC world title. I'm not sure where that statement comes from. Continue, my brother.
and then Juan says, "Pay the damn fees and quit being a bitch, or stop crying about with moving on from this clown show." I don't know what he meant by that. He could elaborate if he want to. Golden State says WBC know they made that shit for Canelo. They mad they had to give it to Crawford. That's why Solomon disappeared when Crawford won.
Yo, they was tight. They was tight. Yo, Terrence Crawford stole the night. Come on, let's admit it, guys.
He
That
did.
ring was measured for Saul. Let's not play. Don't lie. That ring
Facts.
and that belt was made for Saul. We know that. Yo, Terrence played spoiler. Yo.
And they said that belt.
Admit it.
Ryan said that belt represents Mexican boxing, bro. Maurice showed us that.
No. Okay. When Tank Davis was fighting Frank the Ghost Martin, didn't the WBC come in and make a black freedom belt for the WBC for Tank Davis?
Yeah.
The WBC has made other belts like this. Is that we're not paying attention. We only choose to see what we want. I can guarantee you the WBC makes a tricked out belt for that O'Shaughnessy Foster shit. Watch, because the WBC's involved. That's what makes them the top belt. Because I don't see the WBO doing this, the IBF, the WBA, making tricked out belts for your night, for your moment, on top of your belt. What organization gives your coach a belt? The green belt that flips over their side. You see the WBA doing that for your coach? You're talking about the Rolls Royce of belts. This is what they do. They do this for, yo, you fuck with the WBC and bring them money. The WBC doesn't see color. They only see the color green. That's it. They got black fighters, they got Mexican fighters, they got all kinds of WBC fighters. Naoya Inoue is a Japanese fighter that continuously has the WBC title.
He might be
There are
Japanese at this point.
yo, there's a lot of Japanese dudes that got the WBC. So don't say that the WBC is like, no.
He said
They fuck
he's
with you if you got money, if you bring money. That they're bougie. Yes. They're not on a ranking system. No. They be on bullshit and they be picking the most popular fighters to fight for their belt. Yes. Why? Because they're the Rolls Royce of belts. That's how they run their organization. Is it fucked up? I think so, but they make sure in this way every time who's fighting for their belt are big names, the top guys. They're always the WB. That's what makes the WBC so powerful. You're constantly seeing their fighters fighting like the top guys. And if you got like a fan base, like if you're a Manny Pacquiao somewhere in the world, that works. If your name is Ryan Garcia, that works. You know, I get it.
so then he said I said X fighters, they have helped. And then he said we know black fighters pay them. You missing the question. They charge you for those belts.
Yeah. And that's good. That's good that they charge you for the belts because nothing in life is free. You're at your job. You see what I'm saying? The life they provide for you, boxing, for winning a world title. Look, even Teofimo Lopez proved it. Teofimo Lopez at this point in his career, I'm talking about when he was still fighting in New York City with Top Rank over there in the lower ones or whatever, even when he came up with Loma, he never made over $1 million in none of his fight. But make no mistake, Teofimo Lopez was a millionaire. Why? Because the stage that boxing provided. Do you know how many sponsors sponsor Teo? You know how many people invite him to parties and hand him stuff? Here you go, champ. You know how much what boxing gives you? How many doors it opens? Not only for you, but for your family's last name.
Yeah, Subriel even sponsored them. He gave him a cocotazo.
Yo, listen, you know what I'm saying? Sponsored, you know? But and listen, I'm gonna tell you, Tio is a millionaire, but he never made $1 million purse. You get it? And this is what boxing does for you. These people are missing the point. They think like, oh, they just because I didn't make this much money. No, the world that boxing, people, you walk down the street, people know you. You walk in a restaurant, you might just get a free meal. Boxing provides a lot. So these like,
Hey, your manager made a good point here. He said Inoue's currently the only undisputed champion.
yeah, that's
Think about it.
yeah, yeah.
He's the only one that holds all 4 belts right now.
No, he's been the only current one consistently. Because you can count all belt runs, never been stripped, and none of the 2. So he's just on another level. And then here's one thing you just got me to remember. I hear this on the Boxing Voice a lot. That callers come in all passionate, yelling and shit too. They be talking about David the Monster Benavidez and how he was ducked by Saul Canelo Alvarez and he never got his time. And I was like, wow, that can't be further from the truth. Because what happened was David the Monster Benavidez was yelling that he wanted his shot at Saul. But for the first year or so of that, he was just doing that because the order of the WBC was at the back of the line. There's an order he has to defend those belts and whoever was first. So when he was looking like he was being avoided and ducked, it was because you always saw David the Monster Benavidez being boisterous. You're ducking me, Saul. Give me a shot. You know that's my belt. And we all knew he wasn't never technically beaten, David the Monster Benavidez. So we wanted the fight. But it couldn't be his mandatory, the WBC. By the time the WBC came full circle, that it was time for them to really put pressure, right? They dragged it on as long as they could, the WBC. They did. But when they finally was like right there that Saul is basically going to get stripped by them, fucking David the Monster Benavidez left. He left the division and went up. That's why everybody criticized him for that. That's why a lot of fans turned their back on David because they were like, motherfucker, you were at the door. And that's when the fans started realizing the rule structure of the belts. And that
Yeah,
in
hold that thought,
actuality,
Edwin. Hey,
yeah,
hey,
go ahead.
Ryan, type that question that you want me to ask because you're saying that you're talking about around the question, but he didn't ask no question. I mean, we've been talking about the whole WBC and how he feels that Maurice only helps the Latin community. So retype the question and I'll read it to Edwin so he can
Yeah.
answer it better.
Listen, that's just like boxers. Every boxer feels a certain way because they're on a certain side. Remember when Terrence Crawford was saying to Bob Arum, you're a racist to black fighters, right? Then just in that same year, Tio came out and said, you're a racist to Latin fighters. You only help out black fighters. He accused Bob Arum of liking the black fighter versus the Latin fighter, and that all the Latin fighters at top rank get the shit under the stick, according to Teal. And then according to Terrence Crawford, he likes all the Latin fighters and the black guys get the shit under the stick. What I think we have here is called business. Bob Arum will take money from you, do this to you. You guys are just individual people. I, you think Bob Arum would ever be raised? Yo, he helped out Muhammad Ali. He was in an era where you shouldn't help out black people, and he was.
You know what the problem people have with Bob Arum? The problem with Bob
They're
Arum
just
that
crazy. It's just
people
that he's
see,
just old. He comes from a different time. He has a different tongue. You know
yeah,
how your abuela will say some borderline racist shit. She says it all day.
exactly.
Okay?
And it's
They just
normal to her.
it's no, yeah, because they come from a different time. That's all that shit is.
But what people don't understand is the way that Bob moves all his fighters
Yeah.
is he moves them in a sense where he can get them to championship status. He ups their competition little by little to get them prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Look, look,
So hold
okay.
on. He
Yep.
asked a question. It says, "Tell me a black fighter the WC has helped in their time of need."
Hundreds. Hundreds. At the WBC convention, right? The WBC holds a convention, I think, like every year or whatever, where they invite all like the old WBC world champions, and they all get on stage and take a picture, right? Okay. So the WBC has like a lot of their former like champions that were there that are going through like financial situations. And there's been numerous stories that I personally watched, like autobiographies of the WBC helping these guys. If you want to see a lot of these things, right, so that I don't mess anybody's name up, right? Because you know how I am here. I'll mess up a person's name. That's why I'm hesitant to say the name, right? But you can definitely watch the WBC's autobiography on fucking what they do behind the scenes. Like I've seen some of their things now. How many they help, that I don't know. What if it was like they were helping out one or two or three just to like show good faith? Now, going into the like me diving into it, I never gave it that much thought.
Hey,
It wasn't something.
your subscribers are on a whole other fucking level. They funny as shit. Mark
Right, what,
says Fulton missed weight but gets a shot at the 135 interim title. That's a recent example.
that's it. Two black guys getting the help. Wow. They say a recent example of them being racist is giving them another shot at a belt because one didn't make weight, but they're helping them.
They're
Wow,
helping him at a
that
135.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Like it no, that's the WBC helping themselves. Because apparently the WBC was out of that fight because Stephen Kubo Fulton broke contract. Steve Fulton ain't gonna pay sanctioning fees on that fight if the belt's not on the line. You're not being represented as an organization. Your belt's not on the line. So they had to scramble, get them back into the office and say, hey, here's another offer. We'll allow you guys to fight for the WBC 135 interim WBC championship. What'd you think about that? Belt's still on the line. They said, word, because they're going to get sanctioning fees for that interim belt. See what I'm saying?
Hey Ryan,
Oh,
he's not saying about taking a picture at a WBC event. What he's saying is that they hold an event every year or so,
yeah.
and all the WBC champions come up, and whoever needs help, obviously nobody's really gonna know about it. But if you watch the autobiography that he's talking about, it'll show how many people they've helped that
Right.
were
Oh,
going through financial
James
struggles and
Tony.
shit.
James Tony is one of the fighters that they went to. I think even Roy Jones Jr. is another fighter. There's a few WBC champions you can go that they tell their stories about what the WBC has done for them. So them themselves, you could hear it from the boxer themselves. I would go to the source. I would hear from the fighter themselves rather than hearing Suleiman tell me something. So if you were gonna look up the story, I would look it up that way.
He
Don't
he keeps moving the goalposts. Now he's saying no, they have built gyms in Mexico and built housing. So it went from helping a black person financially to now they don't do shit in the black communities by building
okay,
gyms
check
and
this
housing
out.
and shit like that.
Check this out. Check this out. How about this, right? The WBC, I don't think Roger Mayweather has ever owned a WBC championship, has he?
Not, I think his uncle. I think Floyd's uncle, but I don't think
No, no,
Roger.
no, no. Roger Mayweather is Floyd's uncle. I don't think he's never owned. I think he owned the IBF and the WBA. I think it was. I don't think he ever got. Now Mayweather was the WBC champion, right? And Mayweather, like he's having a lot of problems with Roger, and the WBC rocks with Mayweather so much. I can't. You know what? I'm gonna retract on this story, right? But bottom line is, I'm only going to go by what Floyd said, right? And we see the effects of boxing. I'm going to go by what Floyd said out of his mouth. You guys can look this interview up. Floyd's in his car, he's driving, and somebody's interviewing him, and he's saying, yo, Roger Mayweather, my uncle, he's like, he was in his 50s at this time in his Floyd's life. He was like, my uncle's in his 50s. He doesn't even know who I am. He said, Roger was supposed to be at the gym today, but he walked off. And then he said on the day of the Pacquiao fight at the MGM casino, Roger Mayweather walked from the casino home. That was like 20 miles. That his so when these people talk about helping these fighters, I hope they're not playing around with this. This is not something we should. If he says that, he needs well, like families of the that he's helping. You know, they
Well,
gotta.
hold on, because the question I just went back to it right here. It says, "Tell me a black fighter the WBC has helped in their time of need." You answered that, and then I told him he's moving the goalposts because he then said, "No, they have built gyms in Mexico and built housing." So again, he said that he didn't change anything. I said that at first. I didn't change anything. So he went from asking about what black fighters has been helped by the WBC, and then now he's talking about that Suleiman does shit in Mexico for boxing gyms and housing. Bang Bang said Ryan won't believe anything if Suleiman doesn't say it himself.
Okay, this is what the WBC does for all talent, all fighters of all gender, black, Spanish, Russian, whatever. The WBC runs organizations, amateur organizations up the ranking worldwide for all nationality in all walks of life. They also have sponsorships where they promote the black heritage belt for the WBC that is commemorative on the History Month. They also have academies in the world where kids from off the inner cities can come into their gyms and fight and get help. So that's for all ethnic groups, not just black fighters. That would be for all of them because all their tournaments and and the recognition you can get coming up in a WBC tournament as an amateur and starting to get the WBC interest in you and the right people and guidelines and fighting in the right tournament and these tournaments holding weight because the WBC hosts them. They're hosted by the WBC. So if you can get in a tournament as an amateur, it could start to turn into like the Golden Gloves, the WBC Golden Gloves, and that could start to build weight, and that's worldwide. So
Ryan, how
it,
about you do a simple Google search and search it? Like,
I just did right now.
no,
That's what
not you,
Google.
not you, not you. I'm talking
Yeah.
about Ryan because he says he'll believe it if you show him.
Oh well, that's what um AI says about Mauricio Suleiman, and that was the answer that it said. And the WBC Academy, it says it right there.
Hey, so
Everything.
Loza says Opatai is going to smash Sin Caro.
Ooh,
I guess they're fighting what, Saturday?
I think so. Yeah, that right. Yeah, on what is that? That's when
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow, but it's early.
is it? At what
It's
time?
like
When?
I
When?
think at 8. I don't even know, bro. I'm
Okay.
telling you, ever since that whole scandal with Subriel and all that bullshit, bro, I've been disconnected from boxing completely. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want to hear none of that shit. Like,
I tell you all the time. I don't allow one event to discourage me from the sport I love. When I saw Shasi Foster lose to Conceiao, I was disgusted. I knew that my American fighter beat that dude, and they still gave it to Conceiao. I was like fed up, but and then remember Nelly came out and all these people. I ain't never gonna put none on boxing. Blah blah blah. Right, and I'm just like, look, because of the main event, but I was like, look, from I was reminded a quick lesson in boxing. Don't allow one fighter or one event with one fighter to turn me away. That's not why I watch boxing. I don't watch it for one person, one fighter. I watch it because of the skill that these men and women possess in the ring and that they're the greatest fighters in the world. I like to see that shit. So I watch it for that reason. But if you're a fan to one person, okay, that's nothing wrong with it. But it's tough when your guy leaves the sport.
hey,
You
Loza
know,
wants to know if you're gonna cover the fight, the Opatai fight.
the overtime. What time? I mean, we gotta get this clock. Or what are we getting up at 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning? What are we doing? Like what?
Big stupid.
What do you say?
He said Ryan wants to see a picture of a black family next to their brand new house at the WC bar.
He ain't right.
And then
He
he said
ain't
with a
right.
Cadillac, he said with a Cadillac parked in the driveway.
No, yo, it's crazy, yo. I mean, some people just want. extraordinary proof. I mean, but you can I don't know, because the more I think about it, I'm like, just fucking go up to the WBC website. But he's right. You could write anything. You could
Yo,
say
by the way,
anything,
smash the like button, y'all.
you know? Um, but for me, it would be to see what, and I've heard these guys over the years talk, some of these legends and stuff. You know what? You know what would be real interesting? Does the WBC help out Hitman Hearns? He was a WBC champion, right? That
Who,
would be
who
real
who's
good
that?
to Hitman Hearns. Hitman Hearns, the Four Horsemen. He was with Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Hangler, and he's real bad. Like his speech and he was like real bad. And I wonder during his troubling times, did they ever help him or fighters like him? And like, yeah, like I've seen like stories and interviews. Yes, I can admit that. Yeah, uh, whether or not the WBC was giving him a few hundred, I don't know, man. Like that, like watch it. Like I think that the WBC is a private organization. They don't beat their chest, and every time they help somebody, they don't say, "Hey, look at me, I'm helping this person." I don't think it works that way. I think they just do what they do behind the scenes, and the families know. The actual people that they help, they know the truth. And I hope, pray to God that it's actually like that they're really doing what they're saying they're doing. That's all I can ask and hope for. I'm not going to sit here and vouch for them and say, yeah, this is definitely what the WBC. Nah, get the fuck out of here. I ain't saying that. I'm just repeating what they say in the papers. But the guy got me thinking. Anybody could type anything, anybody could say anything, but it would be nice to kind of, you know, hear more people come out and really talk about what they did or stuff, because it's out in the open now. And now we want to know. You might have been like the people that don't have to prove, hey, I'm helping this person out. Look at me. I'm helping them. Maybe they didn't have to be that way, and now you push them in a corner where they're like, look, this is what we were doing. I don't know. So let's find out.
What Ryan wants now is he wants to see black fighters not pay those fees and see how long they'll last.
Not long at all. Because and then you don't pay the fee, you don't get the belt. You don't get the credibility of the champion. You don't get championship paydays. You don't become the A side. The belt provides a lot. This guy sounds like the Mayweather corruption. He's one of the guys that Mayweather got to. That Mayweather made him. The belts ain't ship guys. You know those fans? Mayweather is responsible for that wave of fans. And I explained why. If you want to know why, rewind this video and go back to the part where I explain it. And you'll see exactly why. He made you, Mayweather. All the fans that come out, belts ain't shit. We shouldn't pay. Mayweather is directly responsible for that. Directly responsible. How could a guy that fought some of the most weight divisions in boxing history, at the time there was only three people in boxing history or some shit like four that to fight for 5 divisions in boxing history, and he was one of them. And then out of all the ones in the room, he's the one that fought the most champions at 23 world champions. And then he was the one that said belts don't matter. Well said from a man that was well established and had all the belts and had all the records. Well said from a guy that doesn't want you to break his records. He played you guys. And he played this guy right here. Belts don't mean it. As soon as I hear that come out of a fan's mouth, Mayweather made you.
Well, he's saying that the WC don't make the fighter makes the WBC.
The fighter makes the WBC?
They
Really?
make each other, then technically.
Okay, check it out. Check it out. You are 100% right. Okay? Without Mayweather, the WBC doesn't do that. No. Without Mike Tyson, the WBC don't do that. No, of course. It's the champions make the belt. But here's where the confusion lies. The champion actually thinks that's his belt. He doesn't understand that belt's been here for 100 years. And there's going to be more champions come and go. And the belt will still be here. That's how strong the organization is. And the only way they stay afloat is charging sanctioning fees to make sure that when you come up, that WBC title is still there. And when you win it, Floyd won it, Mike Tyson won it. All your legends that had that WBC world title, that has legacy. And it was built by the WBC in this way. You see? And then these guys think, no, I can just go into professional. Well, you can't enter professional boxing and use their world stage, use their belt, get where you are in position, get everything that made you that fighter, then shit on what got you there. You would be a hypocrite. That would be like your favorite basketball player, Michael Jordan, winning the trophy, then slamming it on the ground and saying NBA championship ain't shit. All I got to do is be the best player. I'm going to walk around and say I'm the best, and I'm going to beat every top team, but I don't want your trophy in the end. Would Michael Jordan be the man he is without the trophies? Would Terrence Crawford be the man he is without the belts? The only reason why Terrence Crawford's the best fighter in the world is because he got all 4 belts in 3 separate weight divisions. And I'll repeat that, because he got all 4 belts in 3 separate weight divisions. That's what makes him the best. You take away all the belts away from Saul and just have Terrence Crawford beat up Saul Canelo Alvarez with no belts on the line. What did he do? He just beat up a Mexican. That's it. Because Saul wouldn't have no belts, because according to you, all he had to do is just beat up Saul. Because the belts ain't shit. No, the belts solidify that you're the man. And that you beat the man. But everybody's missing the point. Without those belts, Saul is no one. And Terrence Crawford beats up just another Mexican fighter. And what are we saying? The reason why Terrence is who he is because of the belts. He's not Terrence Crawford without them. So I don't know where this delusion comes from. And that everybody wants a free handout. These organizations, the WBC, don't make money off the promoters, off the fighters, off the venue, off of nothing. All they have are their belts. And without them, if you take away the WBC, the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO, take it away. What the fuck is the champion? Who's the champion? What, you're going to keep track on a pad? This guy beat him, beat him? What happens when he breaks his hand or gets sick? You're just going to put these guys, and then you guys are just going to say by word of mouth, well, he's the second guy up? To what? What makes him the best? What award? You guys are foolish. You guys are really with this thing that you guys want to diminish the top award in the sport you watch. And they got you saying that's cool? But we're crazy. Because we don't want to slam the NBA trophy on the ground. You guys are ridiculous, man. The top pinnacle of the sport, your best award, when the guy gets it, you know what? That ain't shit. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. You ain't the man because I say so. Get the fuck out of here. I can't allow... I would be on a boxing channel promoting to tarnish the highest award. Does that make
It's like
any
the Olympics.
sense?
Everybody goes for the gold. They don't go for the silver
I
and
don't
bronze. They
go
go
to
for
the
the gold.
Olympics and say, I hope I can win the bronze. Yeah. Let me bring home the bronze. No. These people are foolish. Mayweather did this. And this is the ripple effect to the Mayweather effect right here. And you're watching it live. Live. You even got coaches coming on. Belts ain't shit. Yo, Mayweather fucked up the game. Yo, it's crazy, bro. How could you down the most prestigious award in your sport? That ain't shit. Then what defies you? What are you playing for? These guys are ridiculous, bro. I don't know, man. Listen, um, there's no
Yo,
way.
I want to say, Melasa, saludo,
Yep.
papi. Um, MD 100. He asked if you ever heard of Peabody.
Peabody, Mass, of course. I live next to it. Well, it's not. It's a little bit far down the street, but um, and then there's Peabody's like Barry and all that. Yeah, I live a little bit further down
So people are asking, I guess they came in late. Why does Crawford have to pay more to the WBC than the WBO?
because the WBC is the Rolls Royce of belts. They have built an organization that far exceeds the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF. These organizations branch out only so far, where the WBC is global. They're a bigger organization. They had bigger events, bigger champions that have fought for up to $1 billion on one night. When you're the Rolls Royce or the Rolex of something, Rolex doesn't lower their price, they raise it. The more you raise it is because you're saying you're prestigious. You're above the rest. So we're not equal. You're not your organizations ain't doing what the WBC is doing. And although people want to sit here and say they're not doing all this shit, I think they're lying. Well, I don't think they're lying when worldwide all these events are going off. The amateur events were live. You could watch them. That series that he had from the guys with 10 fights and down, we all watched that. That was held by the WBC. All these events and all these people and all these nationalities that the WBC is bringing together, I've actually watched this. Now, the helping part of the guys that are less unfortunate in boxing, that part of the story gets a little foggy. So we're going to have to investigate that, right? But as far as all the things they actually do and what they're way bigger organization than all these other guys. They're way bigger. So, um, that's why you pay for that belt because it's the best and they made themselves that. You don't get that high up and then say, "Oh no, I'm going to go down with everybody else and ask for the same price." No. We're the WBC for a reason. You know, if you made it that and you set your standard and your price, you're going to stick to your price. That's your business. That's the only thing I can say to that. I
Hey,
don't
shout
I
out to
I
Rachel
don't
down
make
there.
the
She's in
rules.
the chat. Chile de Garcia, saludo. Anthony Ford says the whole Crawford belts don't matter. It's crazy for him to say 3-time undisputed. LOL. It makes sense when Tank says it because he's not going for undisputed.
Right.
Melasa says you give it that value. We don't value that trash Mexican bootleg interim WBC title like that.
Oh no, 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 no. No, 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 no. I don't give the belt value at all. You might have to go back in this video and see what I said about it. That this belt is really nothing. Oh, Shasi Foster won't defend it. Neither will Stephen Kubo Fulton at 135. Neither of them live there. Well, Shasi Foster is the 130 champion, and Stephen Kubo Fulton is the 126 champion. They only made up this belt right here so that the WBC can get a payday. And let's just remember, it's still an interim belt. It's not the real deal.
He
So you
said
got to
Paco Valcasel always believed in Crawford. WBC never trusts Crawford. They don't deserve nothing.
listen. Opinions are like assholes. We all have opinions. Look, all I want is for my fighter, my American fighter Crawford, to stay with the record. That's all I want. And now I got Rachel Donaire joining the live chat. So,
I'll let y'all top it up. I'm gonna hop
all
off.
right, all right. Thank you.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Hello, you there?
Hello, good morning. Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good, good. Well, it's not actually good morning. It's 7 o'clock here.
I know it's 7 o'clock there, but over here it's 7:41
Yeah, having your
in the
coffee.
morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the morning.
Wow. So how you doing? So you've been hearing
Good.
more on this topic with Terrence Crawford, or
Yeah, well, I had to do a little bit of research because of one of the things, of course, when you go to BoxRec, it doesn't have everything per se. And both Bud and the WBC had mentioned that Bud was back paid for another fight, and I'm like, okay, was it um which fight was it? And I had to do a couple research and ask a bunch of journalists, what's the deal here? Why is there two fights that are back? Well, yeah, fights that are back paid. And what they said was, and this is really interesting to me, that belts don't matter, right? Belts don't matter, positions don't matter, rankings don't matter, apparently at this point. But um, so riddle me this. The Madrimov fight was for the full WBA title, correct?
yes?
Did he need the WBO interim title as well on the line?
No.
Did he also need to request for a WBC eliminator on the line?
Well, okay, wait. The WBO. The reason why. Let me. My. I'm starting to remember some stuff now. What happened in the situation was that he didn't want to relinquish the fact that he could pressure Sebastian Fedora, which was yeah, it was Sebastian Fedora that won the
Yeah, yeah.
WBO, right? So he didn't want
Yeah.
to get his lose his place in line. So the WBO, to accommodate him by fighting the WBA, they threw in the interim. Yes.
Mm. But belts don't matter. So why did you need all three on the line? And rankings, which within those sanctioning bodies, also don't matter. So why did you pay all? Well, he didn't pay BC. Good morning, baby. So that's kind of null and void. But I'm going to assume he paid the other two. My point
Yep.
is, if belts don't matter, why did you request for all three to be on the line?
Well, you know, if belts don't matter, right? Then why was that the pinnacle of your career? That's what you chased throughout your career at 135 pounds, 140, 147, 154, and now 168. It seems
Mm,
like if they didn't matter so much, you know, they mattered because without the belts, you don't turn into Terrence Crawford. You take away all the belts and you just say, "Here, this is the list of Terrence Crawford's fighters," and you tell me who he is at the end of that day, at the end of the list. And you do the same thing with Saul Canelo Alvarez. You take away Saul
mm.
Canelo Alvarez's belts, then all you did was beat up another Mexican boxer. That's all you
Well,
did.
correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm having my coffee, so I'm a
Mhm.
little, putting my thoughts together on this. But the last fight before Madrimov was Spence, correct? At
Yes.
47.
Yes.
So he was moving up. Could he, hypothetically, not had any belts on the line and just fought a tune-up?
No, because he wouldn't have made enough money without the belts.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
but they
I'm
ain't
playing
shit.
devil's advocate right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure you don't think that I'm challenging you. I'm like,
No, no, no,
do
no,
you
no.
think?
But I'm just saying, if he would have moved up and
Mhm.
fought another like a tune-up fight, he could have lost his position in line. He wouldn't have had an agreement with the WBO. He already had a fighting begin. Now you don't own the rights, to challenge the top guy because you left or whatever, right? or
Hmm.
maybe would have hold on to him or the belt or whatever. But the WBO is the one organization that I know for a fact that you cannot simultaneously own the belt in two separate weight divisions. Like you could have a WBA in one and then go up to another and still have both belts. But the WBO has that rule. So as soon as he fought for that interim, that other belt at 147 disappears. You see? So he had to keep a line with the WBO, and the WBO wanted to keep a line open with Terrence Crawford. So I saw it
Yes.
as a business move.
Well, yeah, correct. But all I'm saying is the I don't know if you would call it a backpedal or a smite at the quote, that the only belt that matters is the ring. The only way to get there is from the other belts that you had willfully and business move wise chosen to, in that situation in itself, just that Madrimov fight, chose to pick up three. And you didn't, I don't know why he didn't pay one of them for the Madrimov fight. So that one's interesting, right? Because he's he's saying that it's the Canelo fight that he wanted more. That the WBC wanted more than the rest that he was fighting for. So what was the reason for the Madrimov fight that you paid the other two sanctioning body? Well, they all had allegedly all the same fee, because he's not saying that about the Madrimov fight. Well, why did you pay the other two and not the third?
Okay, because in the Majormal fight, he was also promised for the WBC interim, I think, or some WBCs
Mm-mm.
on top of it. Some
Eliminator.
eliminate. Oh yeah,
Eliminator.
the eliminate. That's what it was. The
Hmm.
fee for the WBC limiter. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you for clearing that up. I knew it was something. So I remember that that's where they fit in the equation, because when you look back at the night, you say, how the hell does the WBC fit in this equation? If he fought for the WBA and the WBO interim, where does the
Hmm.
WBC come in? So it's because of
Correct.
the eliminator. And this
Yes.
is this is discussed, and you have to say yes to this in order for you could have said no. No, I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to enter that. You could have said that because I'm already fighting for two. But I
No,
think he
he
chose.
requested it.
Ooh.
He requested the WBC. I mean, technically, he would have had to request all three, right, to even fight for him. Because what you don't have to take, if you want the title line, you have to petition for it. Again, he was at
Okay.
47.
Okay. So that answers a lot of questions. So he requested this.
He
So
requested the WBC specifically to be for an eliminator.
right. So when I request something, you tell me what it is, you tell me the price, you tell me what it is, and then we go along because I'm requesting it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I'm
why
doing
did
bit.
the other two? So the comparison, though, besides that, is the other two, the what he's saying in the Canelo fight is that he paid all the other belts, and the WBC wanted more for the Canelo fight. Okay, that's the story. But why was this? Why? So why did you not pay them for Madrimov? Because that whole scenario of the different pay scales for the BC was
I
for the.
see what you're saying.
You
Okay.
see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
right. You're saying, okay. So if you're saying, Terrence Crawford, that the WBC for hypothetically got greedy and they're asking for more money, so we can see why you don't want to pay them now. But why didn't you pay him the last time when there
Correct.
was
Yes.
no problem? It was
Correct.
just
Correct.
the fee, and you didn't make up a
Correct.
stink, and you went into the next fight. So that's what makes the thing look shady on
Correct.
Terrence crib on Terrence, because if they, it's making it seem like that person, you go to the restaurant, you say, I want shrimp, lobster, your finest, they bring it to you, you eat, and now you're trying to waltz on the bill. Now you're trying to say, I like no, you ordered the food, you ate here, you ate the entire meal. Like, and you start to see it for it to be a little different. So I get where, yeah, if he didn't pay that, there was no problem then. Now they're asking, yeah, so what's the problem? It seems like the problem might be on your end, and we're not saying that it is. we're just spitballing here. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
accusing.
100%.
I'm not accusing Terrence Crawford or anything, but or neither are you. But now, the thing is this. Now, let's let's say, right? Let's say that he doesn't pay Rachel. Have you ever seen in the sport of boxing that after you were announced the champion, you didn't pay your sanctioning fees? They gave you a time. They were trying to work with you. Then they came and stripped you. Did it still count in the record books?
Um, I mean, in the eyes of the public, it still counts, right?
No. That's
But
not
I
good enough.
mean, like here's and that's where people are going to go back and forth when you go into debates or when you talk about um the boxing Hall of Fame. Like that's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun topic to be the voting board on that. I mean, I think Bud would get in first ballot, but if there was a debate, if you had to take one
No,
side and I had to take the other, it would
right.
be an interesting debate because
Because how's
then
he
you
get?
did it.
He's gonna
Yeah.
get into the Hall of Fame, but how's he get in? Does he get in
Mm,
under a two or does he get under a three? And if you guys took that
yes.
away from him, and technically, listen, we've been down this road 100 times. There was a point in time where in history where in the 1920s or whatever it was, the white dude wouldn't fight the black dude, and we called him the people's champion. We called the other
Yeah.
dude people's champion. We've been down this road. Just because we the people deem it so, in 100 years, we the people will not be here. What's going to be here is what's going to be on black and white. And in
Yeah.
that Hall of Fame, it's going to say two-time, not three. And soon, we the people, so I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with taking a moral victory saying, okay, take your belt, but we really know who the three division, all four belt. We're not going down that road. We're not playing that. It's either it's in the history books or it's not. Because 500
Yeah.
years from now, what is it going to say?
Yeah.
You ain't going to be here to argue for your boy Terrence Crawford. No, that's got to be set in stone, 100%. And if they got a chance of taking that away from him, I don't want to play with that. You already did it. Pay him the money. Charge him more on the next one. Get the money back. It's
Well,
business.
and that's the funny part. It might be, listen, Madrimov was what, a year and some change
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
the Canelo fight. I mean, I don't know what the percentage rate is for a hard money loan. But if you owe me money, when it comes to even lawsuits, there's interest fees that are getting
That's
stacked.
Hey, Rachel, great point. That's my boy. Suleiman might have been telling him. Terrence was like the 300 and the one, and Suleiman was like, "Wait a minute, there's the ring we made, and the interest rate to everything. It's a little bit more taxes, my brother, but you owe us for
Yeah.
that year, and their
Mm-hmm.
accountants might have tallied it up, and he
Mm-hmm.
might. This all might be over. Like really, it'll be over like something like 10 grand. You know how like rich people they get all the
Yeah.
way up to the point.
Oh, mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
how it is, and over
Yeah.
500 bucks, the deal falls through. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just because of
Yeah.
that little extra, you know?
Yep.
It
Yep.
be like
That's how
that.
interest
I'm just
works. One hundred
I'm
percent.
just saying. I'm just saying it be like that.
Yep. And I don't usually talk to the chat when I'm talking to you, but the one that's just saying y'all threatening him with that pressure talk, y'all don't know Terrence. Funny part, maybe check my IG. Um, I know Terrence outside
Personally.
of
Yes.
personally, been in numerous houses with him. Uh, can call him. So I don't know what you're talking about. And any of these, and let me be completely
Yeah, you do know who
honest and
this
broad
is,
about this.
chat. This is Rachel Donier's wife, the champion of the world. This is
Yeah.
this is this is her. This is his wife. So just in case you don't know before you start saying some shit, like she's been with in like all kinds of conventions. Oh man, it, she's probably forgotten about more boxers than you probably know. I'm trying to tell you the truth. So like Be careful what you say and be respectful, chat. Hey, yo, in frontline, police that shit.
Well, it's not even just that. It's just funny, right? Like let me put
Mhm.
it this way. When I was speaking about how the hedge fund was a bad idea, right?
Mm.
What before when he was like, "Oh, we got two dudes at $20 million hedge fund," and everyone's like, "Hedge fund, hedge fund, hedge fund," and I'm like, "Do you And I went on lives and I was like, "Do you understand what a hedge fund is? What they do, how it operates, and who it has to get paid first?" I was like, hedge fund comes in, they get paid first, bro. And it's funny, right? Like, so Bud comes out eventually. I have the video. He did a interview with someone and they were asking about, the hedge funds and the guarantees and how he gets paid in this. And he said it actually was a good idea not to go to hedge fund because they get paid first. And I'm like, smiling about it. And so I see Bud at the WBO. I'm like, hey Bud, what's up? He's like, hey sis, what's going on? I was like, hey, quick question. Let me grab you over here. He's like, what's up? And I was like, so I don't know. I'm hearing that, what I said, that I was being disrespectful and that you were going to come for my neck for what I said on YouTube. And he's like, man, he's like, I don't pay no mind to that shit. Whatever you said is what you said. You were right in the end anyway. So for me, like, it's funny, like the type of person that thoroughly thinks about what I'm saying, and a lot of them,
Yeah.
I will go up if I have a relationship with you and have, of course,
Right.
respect for you. I will go up to you and tell you what I said with no qualms because
Yeah.
it's no bad energy. At the end of the day, guess what? I actually had Bud winning against Spence before going into that ring.
Mm.
So it's,
Right.
this is all
Right.
just discussion of
Yeah.
how what's going on and how you feel, how I feel, and what it is. I mean, this is not a situation where he was sleeping in his room by like in the dark and no one was talking about him. We're just bringing him up. This is the
Right.
topic today.
Right.
It's on the
Right.
news board.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the biggest things in boxing right now because of what's on the line and what we fear. I think that you were right yesterday when you came on and you think that Dana White might have fumbled this. And I
Mhm.
think that we might be in a situation where that all the
Ooh, ooh,
WBC can
wait.
do.
Okay, I did
Yeah.
say that, but I got a new trinket for you.
Okay.
Um, I spoke to numerous extremely high pay people on the fighters that Turkey has been paying extremely high,
Yep.
and the what I'm hearing from the big ticket guys are that they get paid prior.
Mm.
So that's another one that could be throwing a wrench in because
Yes.
if you got your money prior, then how
Then
are you?
you're gonna
Yeah.
run like Devin Haney.
I mean,
And
yeah, I
and
mean,
and
like
and the Jose Ramirez, and the Jose not in the key the Norman Jr., not in that one, in the Jose. You see, because in New York, we said that Devin was paid first. And
yep.
it's like you get the bag first, and it's like, man, I don't want to mess up this fight because this is not my fight. My fight is with Ryan. So on
Hmm.
that same card, Ryan's fighting Rolly, I'm fighting Jose. You kind of got all the money. You're already paid. You're just like, just don't mess up the night. Like, and that could be a problem.
Yeah, well, in addition to if you get paid up front, right? You're 100%, then yeah, now you're gonna start having bills on the side. Normally, like I said, what happens is the money is paid not paid out, but overseen by the commission.
Yep.
So they'll come into the dressing room with an itemized bill and the commission will be like, okay, well, this is your, check from um, whoever, promoter A, and these are the things. It could be medicals, it could be tickets that you wanted to purchase before the fight. It could be additional hotel rooms, whatever it is. It could be in advance. All of those things are all deducted from your paycheck, and the commission has
Mhm.
you sign the bill and that you received your check from the promoter, and then they put it into the record books, right?
Right, right.
So when it comes to that, um, if you're getting paid up front, then how do they itemize you? How does commission itemize you anymore? It's out of
Ra-
their hands.
Rachel, it's true what they say. You got to be hungry in this world. If they feed me and I'm no longer hungry, if I was working for food, a meal or something on your ranch, you said work a day and I'll feed you. If you fed me in the morning, I'd be lazy. I would no longer be hungry. I wouldn't have that hunger to get that plate of food. You have already gotten it, and it's the old saying of human behavior. You can entice me as long as you have something I want. As long as you give me the bag already, now I want to switch up. I already got the bag. Now I don't want to give you
Hmm.
your cut. Had you taken out your cut, like we said in the beginning, when I got my bag and your cut was already out, now I already know what I'm working with. But you gave me
Hmm.
the full bag. And now I'm looking
Yeah.
at the entire bag. Now I don't want to give nothing up. You know how that
I
is?
mean, does anybody? I mean, come on, everyone
No.
gets their paycheck.
Everything
If
changes
every,
once you
yeah,
give the person what they want. Now I don't want to give you why? I already got everything. And that's
yeah,
where it breaks down. And I truly think it does because I've experienced that a lot in my life. Like, and you're right. As long as you have that one thing, but as long as if you give it to me, it's a what hey, it's like working on your house and doing your entire house, but that corner section, but you paid me all my money and I told you I'll come back this week to finish that. Does that guy ever come back?
no,
Yeah, you already paid him. You
yeah,
should have said, I'm not paying
yeah,
you until that
yeah,
corner is
no,
done.
yeah. I mean, hello. I mean, how many of us? I mean, taxes, right? Taxes
Right.
in general, and like, do you want to give out your money now that you have your money? And even at that,
No.
when you get your paycheck, there's other taxes besides your income tax that's also taken out. But if you're a contract worker, an independent contractor, um, you normally get your 100% of, let's just say $50,000 for doing a construction job, and then eventually you're going to have to pay taxes. But a
Right.
normal 9 to 5 employee has all these deductions, whether it's state, whether it's, I mean, whatever it is at this point, that they have to pay out. But do you think that anyone is? I mean, come on, no one's willing to just give out money.
Right. And it's just that's how it is in life. You're right. You're so right. Like once you pay me, man, like and that's the thing. Once you gave Terrence Crawford the night, you gave him the opportunity, now you don't want to pay. Why should
And I
I?
already told you we did this, right? I told you that
Yeah.
we backed out
we-
of the IBF. So it's not
Yep.
like it's not possible. We did it
Right.
because Nonito didn't want to pay the sanctioning fee. No
Exactly.
disrespect to the IBF, but 3 belts on the line. Nonito was like, no.
I'm
He was
good.
like, drop the IBF.
Right. Right. But you were informed and you were aware of it. So you yourself, that's why I like when you talk about world title situations and what goes behind the scenes because we have somebody that actually lives it, that actually experienced this. We're not guessing. This ain't no guess, gentlemen. This is the real deal. So when she speaks about her husband vacating or not vacating, I'm sorry, not wanting to participate to compete for the IBF because of the sanctioning body fees because there were 3 belts is because that was the decision they were made. It speaks to they were aware going into the match what it was, how much it was, and what they were fighting for. It's not like they got a surprise bill at the end of the fight and said, surprise, this is what it is. No, you had a choice. You could have said yes or no. They opted out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
Um, really interesting.
yeah, hey, look, and these are her and her husband's experience. So it lets you know some of the processes and what it is at certain levels. And here it is, right here. You are aware. We make listen, people. This is not some backyard fighting. We're talking about professional boxing. There are a lot of these guys that dot their I's and cross their T's and make sure that these contracts are what they are because of the other side trying to snake one in on you. So if you
Always,
don't think that
always.
everybody wasn't informed what was on the night that they were fighting at one of the highest multi-million-dollar fights. So you mean to tell me at 100 million and $50 million fighters at that fight, we were doing Mickey Mouse shit, that we weren't on the same page, that somebody must have got something wrong. You think going into $100 million fight at that level that that's what it was? Nah, bro. He had to have known. That's why I'm saying the biggest money fight in the world of our era in the time. Come on, guys. Are we really that naive? Like Terrence?
With that much
No,
money on the line, you don't think
right,
that? I
right.
mean,
You think he got
wow.
hit with a surprise bill? Surprise, motherfucker, 200,000 more. No. That nah, everything was talked about. And I really think that they went on the system. Like Terrence owed them 100,000 for the last one, right? He gets in the room. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying I really think that Terrence said, "Don't you think I'm good for it?" They say, "Yes, sir, Mr. Terrence Crawford. You're good for it. You're about to get $50 million. Give us 400,000. I'm just adding the 3 and the 1. That's 4, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So roughly. So 400,000. Okay, you're good for 400,000. We'll conclude with the festivities. Maybe some exchange, and Terrence is in the party and he's with Mr. Suleiman. They're showing him the ring and he's yes, we have ourselves a fight. But you was obviously unaware of it. And then after you get the bag, like you said, Rachel, I think that's what happened. Had you taken out your money and then gave him the bag, he would have been okay with it. But it's that old, I'm telling you, Rachel, like, and then think about the people that Terrence hangs around with. Shakur Stevenson, um, what's the cruiserweight champion there? That he's the announcer there. Uh, uh, wow, what
Which one? On the zone?
he's his name is eluding me right now, and I don't even know why. He works with Tim Bradley. They commentate. He was the cruiserweight champion, undefeated, retired. Uh, oh my
Mm.
god, boxing world crucified me right now. Um, uh, uh, he's Shakur Stevenson's mentor. He was also his manager at one point until I think Jay Prince took him away all the way. Well, somebody help me here. What's his name? Um, Andre Ward. Andre Ward.
Oh,
Andre
yeah.
Ward. Andre Ward hangs around with Terrence Crawford a lot. Andre
Mm,
Ward was just in a campaign last year saying, well, I don't know why we pay these sanctioning fees. He was one of the people that started that. Where did these sanctioning fees go to? Then
mhm.
it's him and then Shakur and all of them. Then all of a sudden, Terrence Crawford got in a position. And I think he finally just said, $500,000, 400,000, whatever it was. That's just too much. And I think greed, in a sense, plays a factor. And I also think that I think he realized he got one over. Now check this out. Hear me out, Rachel, right? Say I told you I was gonna give you $300,000 to come out to my event. And I said on October 10th, you be here. I pay you the $300,000, but my event folded. So I no longer needed your services, but I already gave you the 300,000. So
Mhm.
technically, or whatever, I never had an agreement with you or anything else. So basically, you got the 300,000. So legally, and there's in a situation, I really can't do anything to you. Do you give me back the
Unjust
300?
enrichment. No, you could sue for unjust enrichment.
Okay, but
A
just say
service wasn't rendered.
right.
Now, if it's in the contract that says regardless of cancellation. then yeah, you get to keep your money.
Okay, let's say I gave it to you in cash and we didn't have no agreement. I just say, Rachel, here you
Oh, then
go.
you're screwed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, then you're
So
screwed.
let's say I realized I was screwed. Do you pay me back my 300,000, or do you realize I'm actually screwed and you can walk away? Is Terrence Crawford in a situation where he realized he actually doesn't have to pay you? You're screwed. Does he just now, you guys, Dana White, you might have messed up. And because of this, Mauricio Suleiman, he already made a video. He's even telling Terrence Crawford, I'll even drop the price more just to get to get something back. Because I'm starting to think they realized we might have messed up now. Does Terrence Crawford be stand up and go, you know what? Even though you guys messed up and I don't gotta give you guys shit, do I still give you the 400? Or do I throw you something? Or like is that where we're got? I'm just throwing that out there as a hypothetical. What if
I mean,
that is
Bud doesn't
the case?
seem. Yeah, I mean, Bud doesn't seem like the type that if you talk to him, which I keep harping on that communication is
Okay,
key, right?
okay,
Um,
forget Bud. What about you,
'Kay.
Rachel? Do you give
I
me
would never do
back
it.
my three?
No, I
Right,
would give
all
your
right
money
then.
back.
All right, all right then. Let's really talk human behavior.
Well,
I,
I believe in a karmic circle though. I
yeah,
believe
I
that,
do, but I also
like
think that
you
you gave me 300,000 and you were dumb enough to give it to me in cash. Well, then you know what? Like, no, I ain't paying you back.
no,
You know,
because I look at it in business and in life that if I do that to someone, whether or not it comes back and hits me in the pocket, it could definitely come back and hit my children, right? Which anything that happens to my kids, like I'm like, oh no, no, like do it to me. If you're gonna do anything to me, do it to me in a karmic circle. But that doesn't always happen that way, and it doesn't have to be that exact amount. It could be something else. It could be, um, a contract that you lost because of the circle. You know what I mean?
right.
And so, I mean, that's just it. Like Nonito's like huge on stuff like that. That he doesn't feel like if the shoe was on the other foot, would you want that to happen to you? And because I run a bunch of businesses, the last thing I would want is to not pay my bill and for someone not to pay their bill to me.
I get it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It just certain things, certain situations, because it also depends on who you are. If you were a company that I rocked with for like 10 years, 5 years, or somebody, and you gave me some money and we never got the shipment out, I'll send you your money back, whatever. If it was something I was doing on a whim and you were requiring my services and I was supposed to be available for that day, I wouldn't give you your money back because I was moving things around for that day too. My time is valuable. So
Hmm.
if in that sense, no, you paid, and if you guys fumbled on your end, well, then that's on you. I might not pay you that back. But if it's people that I deal with in businesses and stuff, and it was a moral, yeah, I would give the money back. Yeah, and the situation you explained, yes, I would. But in the one I did, um, if it was a 1 day thing and I was dealing with an agent and he says, I need you to fly into town and be here, and I was there and they canceled, no, I'm not giving no
Yeah,
money back. No.
yeah, that's different. 100%. Because you
Yeah.
already like that's already
Yeah.
normally when they fly you out
Right.
for a contract, like your work starts the moment that you get on that plane, right? Because that's part of the time that you're getting paid for is not just the, how many hours, like let's just say commentating.
Right.
It's not that. It's like you have, of course, they need you there the day before the travel and the day after to travel back home. So even when it comes to the military, okay, the
Yep.
military, they send you out on a TDY. Your TDY starts the day that you're traveling, and you have X amount of per diem starting the day that you travel. Your
Mhm.
TDY pay changes the day that you travel. Now, whether or not you go over there and you have to do your job, whatever your job is, or you sit in a boardroom awaiting orders, you're still getting paid the job, and then you go home. That's it.
You know, I'm a little thrown back by um some of the answers in the chat here. I want to answer one, but sometimes I'm just like I don't feed into it. But anyway, um,
It's up to you. I don't care. I'm reading them. Some of them
yeah,
are funny,
I'm reading
and
them
there's some of
too.
them are really highly emotionally charged.
Right, right. I I I
So I'm like,
I
eh.
I was just reading a couple of them, and I was just thinking, and you know what? I'm not going there today, because you know, m- look, opinions are like assholes. We all have them,
Mm,
and no matter what I feel about some of these boxers and stuff, let me be transparent with you guys. I'm just um I love all these boxers, man, for every moment they've ever given me, for every show, for every memory, for every knockout, for every win, for every loss, for everything. I'm in this for the long haul. I love sport because of its purity. Now, you might watch sports or boxing for a particular fighter. That's okay. It's okay. And I see some of your messages and stuff in the chat and things and stuff. And but I just gotta remind you guys. You guys gotta remind. I don't have a horse in the race. I cover boxing. I will speak about every situation in boxing. It doesn't. I give every situation a voice. If it's a topic, we're gonna view it. And I'm very thankful for a person like Rachel Donaire to come on my channel today and clear up some of these things and things that go on behind the scenes because you don't get this everywhere. This kind of information, this kind of insight into things that you at least you can um firsthand get a witness account of what transpires so that you can have an idea of why these things are taking place and why these things. So this is all for me. Look, I'm not going to answer a lot of you guys' chats right now, your questions or whatever, but just know this. Just know this that uh it's all for the love of boxing, guys. And we get up here and we talk about these things, man, and don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger and stuff, but I love your comments and your questions and challenging us with thinking outside of the box. Yes. But other than that, man, yeah. These are like topics and situations, Rachel. I got to learn much more about all this stuff. There's a lot of rules that I'm still like learning too at these conventions and stuff.
I mean,
And
you
I'm
could. One of the biggest, like, I mean, keys is don't use Chat GPT or don't use Google. Um, I mean, you could use Google, but make sure you're checking your reference, right? A lot
uh
of the questions and the arguments that people have is they bring up Chat GPT and then, or not Chat GPT, Google Gemini, and they quote what the AI is summarizing, but not the basis of what the article itself says, right? It was the same thing when they were arguing about Devin Haney's was it his rehydration thing. I'm like, you understand that's not rule, right? And they're like, yes, it is, yes, it is. I'm like, dude, they're still having meetings on it. It's literally live streamed. If you go back
right.
into the California State meetings
California, right,
meeting minutes,
right.
you could watch Andy Foster and them go back and forth on trying to make it
A
um,
rule,
a
right.
rule, but at this standing point, it is not. So it's well back to your point, and I did want to answer one that's in the chat. Um, that's the thing is like if no one's talking about it, then that means one we don't care about the sport. Like it, I go from Shakur and Tio's fight to what else I talk about this? Oh, Amanda Serrano versus Erica Cruz. To well now it's the fact that Fulton didn't make weight, but he still is the 126 champion. So that kind of is like a well, did I really need to even care about moving up to fight Oshaki? And how
Right.
does he not make weight again? Okay, I feel like I always have to have a disclaimer. No Fulton, couldn't call him. If he has an issue that I said he didn't make weight, I mean it's a fact. What do you want me to do? But it's you know, it's I guess it's great that people have their very strong emotional tie to a fighter, because that's what, fuels the sport, is people that actually care um, so much about the guy that they're betting on. Not
Right.
betting on, but you know what I'm saying, that they back.
Right. You know,
But Too Rich
yep.
asks, does the WBC supposed to charge more for their belt than the other sanctioning bodies? So based on that question, the WBC and all the other sanctioning bodies do um, charge 3% flat, but there is a certain amount on each sanctioning body. I'd have to go back and see what the amount is, that if a purse is over X amount, that it can be negotiated how much they're going to pay. So if the other sanctioning bodies, at least for, again, I'm just staying on this, the Canelo fight, had negotiated for a lesser percentage, then that is in their rule books, that they're not going to come in and say, you owe me $2 million. Not saying that
Right.
anyone's purse is that high, but point is, that they all have caps within the rules and regulations, and after a certain percentage, after a certain person amount, they can negotiate
Doesn't the
that.
Ali Act kind of come into there then?
And how?
Okay, like um everything has to be revealed to the fighter.
Yes,
Meaning
of course.
okay.
Yeah,
So meaning there couldn't be no surprises at the end. There wouldn't be a 200 or $2 million increase. You see? So you're proving it. Like, doesn't that protect the fighter? Terrence had to know this. And when they're saying like, why does the WBC charge more? Okay. Well, the WBC was offering more. They were offering the tricked out belt, the ring. I keep saying this. And it was just more on the line. Maybe the WBC alerted Terrence Crawford to this. This is your regular price, and this is what it was on because of the night. Are you game? Do you want so you can still win our belt, but if you win, you can't have the bonus prizes, the ring and the belt. If you will just put that to the side. At some point, he had to say, I'm with everything because
yeah,
Suleiman presented him with the ring. He presented him with the belt, like
yeah.
scheduled. Come on, Rachel. It had to
Well,
be
that ring was super expensive
it
too. I
had
saw
to
that
you're
ring.
not just giving that away. So they had to
No, no,
be,
no. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
not just, now that someone said in the chats, I don't know where it went, but that Crawford only made 20. And here's the fun part of, the guessing game, that and the okay, I'm not gonna say braggadocious, but the bragging of Crawford made 50 million. Crawford made 50 million, right? Because a lot of fans like inflate things or they deflate things depending on who they support. Before the fight, he was making 10. Now people are saying that he's making 50. Here's your problem with what you argued, not you, but people who were saying he made 50 or he made 10. If he made 10 million, then 3% is 300,000, right? If he made 50, it's 0.6%. And then someone in the chat said 20, so then if he made 20, then the WBC was only charging 1.5%. You see how this, like, it's such a,
mm,
if you stand on a square when it comes to those things, as far as like purses and
you could
percentages, then it's a
you
whole different story, because you're like, oh yeah, well, he made 50 million. Okay, well, they're asking 0.6%. Does that
right,
sound like much to you?
right, right, right. And then by your percentage, if it goes up or goes down, you could kind of guesstimate what room he's in. Did you just see what you
Yes.
did? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Huh?
Yep. Someone asked, is Fulton fighting for a belt? I'm not sure.
Ye
I can text over to the PBC and
yes.
ask, but is he fighting for a belt?
Yes.
Because okay, this is
Yes. He is fighting currently for the 135-pound WBC interim title. It was announced right now in the weigh-in. Um,
Oh,
what happened was he was fighting for Oshasi Foster's 130-pound strap.
30. So what
Stephen
they
Kubo
moved the weight.
Stephen Kubo Fulton missed weight 3 times
Correct.
today. We watched it. He missed
What
weight
was the
3
first weight?
times. I forget. I'm sorry. I don't want to lie. I forget
Because
what the
I
first
was
miss
shocked.
was.
We were sitting I was sitting
Yeah,
downstairs at the
I was
restaurant, and I
shocked.
heard that the third, they said, I mean, the one that I saw was final attempt was at
The third one.
132. And
That
I
was
was
the
like, so
third.
what was his first attempt at? Like, what did he come
How
in?
heavy did he come in? I was like, but
Yeah, that's
and then if you know Stephen Kubo Fulton, I know a little bit about him. I know that he's a vegan. He doesn't eat meat.
yeah, but he gets big. He gets
But
big. I
okay,
think
he
he
gets
goes
big,
to like,
but all that celery and lettuce or whatever it is he eats, shouldn't that be like? And then I told the people, there's a point in your career you're gonna hit. There's a wall where that when you were young, you used to cut weight no problem. There's gonna be a fight that you're gonna realize your body no longer cuts weight like it once used to. And is this that fight that Stephen Kubo Fulton is figuring that out? That he overshot the weight to come down a cut, and then because you could see he really gave it a valid effort. You don't
okay.
do it 3 times,
Hmm.
to miss weight 3 times. You'll miss it once and say, "Okay, I'm not gonna keep cutting weight. I'm not gonna put my body through this. I'm just not gonna make the weight and take the fines." But he tried
Mm.
it 3 times, which speaks to he was trying to cut the weight. He was gonna try to make the 130.
How did he look? Did he look like
He don't look.
ghostly?
Yep. Yep, 100%.
Really? At
Yep.
132?
He doesn't look like he's in the fight, his face. I said that. He looked like kinda like down, like a diminished fighter, like he was like down, like, and then that's look, Rachel, until this happened today, I actually had Stephen Kubo Fulton in the fight. I know I'm crazy. I had Stephen Kubo Fulton in the fight until today that I took Oshasi Foster because I said, that's not discipline. You miss weight. And then they went back in the room, the WBC
Mhm.
with them, and said, okay, okay, okay. The WBC 130-pound title is not on the line. But guess what? We got a 135 interim belt that we could put on the line that will say that you guys fight for the interim one, as long as the
Mhm.
WBC gets sanctioning fees for that fight, which will be a belt that technically Oshasi Foster is not going to defend the 135 interim, and neither is
No, he
Stephen
could drop
Kubo
it.
Fulton,
Well,
and neither is.
Oshagi, yeah, no, when you miss weight, you have to pay your opponent. So it's not like
Ooh,
Oshaki was like, "Oh yeah, let me just take this, added disadvantage or advantage," but you sit there and you make them pay. Like there was this guy,
right,
Raphael Conception. He came in 2 to 3 pounds over the weight limit for Nonito. And I looked at him and I was like, they're like, Rachel, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to see him sweat. I knew he wasn't going to make the weight, but I was like, make him sweat. And I was like, I sent one of my guys, I was like, you stay with his ass and you make sure his ass is sitting in the goddamn sauna. And I wasted that entire time. I was like, nope, how long do you have to make the weight? 1 or 2 hours? Go sit in the sauna, bro. And my guys sat with it. Well, not my guys. One of my my
yep,
my guys made sure that he wasn't just like do. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to keep like this advantage,
right,
this weight advantage, right? And so then after that, it still wasn't finalized. Raphael Conception's guys were there, and they were like, well. This. We overshot the weight, and I'm like, excuses. I don't care, and they're like, well, they want what can we do? Like, we'll offer you this much. I'm like, bro, no. Like, you didn't even do it by like 0.6, bro. You came in it was 2 to 4. It was some crazy number. That was like, no.
mm,
I taxed their ass.
mm,
They taxed their ass because and
that's
and
right,
that and they that's a thing that is in boxing. It's they redo the contract the same way that Devin and Ryan, they had to redo the contract, or it was not redo, make an amendment to the contract
okay,
that this money is going towards the fighter due to fighter A because fighter A made weight, fighter B did not make weight. So we're giving X amount over from fighter B's purse to fighter A's purse.
Mm. So that's how shit like that works. That's very
Yeah,
interesting.
we don't take a disadvantage like just on the chin.
Mm. So, man, I mean, look, all these situations just prove to me more and more that Terrence Crawford was informed and that all parties were informed, and it seems like to me they've been seems to be a pissing contest here. Now, look, I'm not here to change you guys' mind or Terrence Crawford's. At the end of the day, rightfully so, he's the champion. He decides what he does with his career and his money. What I'm doing is that I have to, and I feel my right to make sure that we are, you know, informed about situations and that we have a platform where we can discuss it. It's good that we can all get our points across and our views, but at the end of the day, it is up to Terrence Crawford. And I hope we can all, at the end of the day, respect him for his decisions. I hope that his accomplishments stay intact. And I hope that we can all learn from this situation. But I am in agreement with one thing: these belts do matter. At the highest sport, for all the blood and sweat that these men and women give, at the end of the day, you're going to say that their biggest award ain't shit, that their biggest accomplishment, their life's work, doesn't mean anything. Well said from a person that never won a world title. Respect the champions, respect the titles, because they give so much. So, Rachel, I'm about to wrap it up here. Um,
Yeah.
is there anything you would like to say before we go?
No, but I do want you to do a little bit of research, and I'll put my birds
Mhm.
on it. Um, has anyone ever fought for the ring title without any other belts on the line?
Uh, has anybody ever fought for the ring? I know Tio was putting up the ring by itself, but he didn't have it by itself. He still had the
Correct.
WBO. So technically that would have been there. Any wow, that would be a good one. Freaking Rachel, okay? You want to come up here and stump me right now? um, who fought for the ring without a belt? Is this trivia? Do you know the answer or
No, I don't know the answer. I just
okay?
having coffee. I'm just well, I'm thinking about the words and behind the words. The ring belt is the only belt that matters. But how did you get the ring belt?
Rachel,
Because it's the top of the division. The top of the division is normally champions.
is that coming from the guy that paid you the most money ever in one of your fights? Oh, the Saudi guy owns the ring? Oh, so that's the guy that's giving you your checks. No wonder you're turning on all the organizations when this is the guy that you're holding hands with in the sand, and he
Mm-hmm.
owns that ring magazine. So I'm careful where I get my source from. You want to diminish one title to justify why you're not paying and now you're moving on to the next title. I don't think it was the ringside magazine belt you were fighting for that night. I think it was the alphabet belts, if I'm not mistaken.
Undisputed. It was for quote
Undisputed.
unquote
Right.
undisputed.
Exactly. So you don't need the ringside magazine belt to be considered undisputed. You only need the four sanctioning bodies. So we're in agreement. I know exactly what you were fighting for. But after the fight, all of a sudden the ringside magazine belt becomes the most prestigious belt because you say so. But that's not what you were fighting for. So,
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
that's my question that we should look into
right.
because if that is the basis of the argument that that's the only belt that matters, why is it that you could only fight for it? If what I'm thinking holds true, then why is it that you can only fight for it if you have a belt? Then that
Right.
means that the prerequisite is to have the other belt, a belt.
And
So,
it's not fair for all other people in divisions, meaning the IBF, the WBO, the WBC, and the WBA are all rightfully there for you to move up and win it competitively. The
Hmm.
Ringside Magazine has stipulations of who can fight for it.
For
So
it.
if it's
Hmm.
not for all of us, then it's not a belt. If we're not all able to compete for it, the number 30 guy, the number 40, the number 15, because the number 30 guy can get a call from the champion when his fighter that was supposed to fight pulls out or got hurt. Then this guy
Hmm.
pulls
Hmm.
up and gets a shot at the belt. But that wouldn't happen with the ring now, would it?
No.
Never. Never. So if it's not fairly and a fair competitive for everyone, then it can't be for everyone. Your belt can't be like that. You understand?
Yeah.
So yeah, when you make something, it has to be rightfully so for everyone to compete. The NBA trophy is there for everyone to win. It's not. There's not a trophy saying only certain players, only certain teams can compete for it. Then that wouldn't
Hmm.
be the real trophy. Then it has to be rightfully so, everyone. And that's what the hugest, biggest debate that I tried to teach to people, the difference between the Alphabet Boys and the Ringside Magazine. Although the Ringside
Hmm.
Magazine is a very prestigious belt, it has a lot of history. It's been around, it's
Yeah.
been the people's champion. But throughout the years, its title has fluctuated. Its meaning when Oscar De
Hmm.
La
Hmm.
Hoya owned the company versus to what Turkey is doing. Turkey's now owning the ringside and he's trying to turn it into a real belt. He's trying to make all of you forget the history of the ring, like the bad parts, and just remember the legacy of the belt. He
Hmm.
and if
What it
he can
meant.
right, and then if he can take that and use that in a fighter like Terrence Crawford and turn it into a prestigious belt, now I got the best fighter in the world saying the alphabet belts ain't shit and my belt is the best. And do you think hypothetically, that Turkey might be destroying boxing from the inside? He got us fighting against each other and our greatest champions turning on our best awards just to build up in the end his TKO lead. I'm gonna leave you guys with that with food for thought. Rachel Donaire, I'm very tired. I gotta eat.
Yep.
Um,
I'll see you
it's
later.
it, thank you for coming on. I know you're having your coffee, but I'm having my dinner. And thank you, fight fans, for tuning in. Don't forget to hit this thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Become a Round One Sports Talk member. And like always, I'm on to the next one. After this one, here at Round One Sports Talk, you guys have been the best. I'm out. Peace.